So, as we were saying, last week. Is he not even done? Oh, this is Link. Okay. Link 1429. Alright, Mono, this is a reference I'm gonna need you to explain to me because I understand what you've been doing on your streams. So I got the gist. 200 bits for one guidance to Selwyn, aka Mono's permaboxed swinub.
What?
I'm streaming Pokemon at the moment, and I'm not naming the Pokemon. The viewers Link won the raffle to name a Pokemon, so I called a Swinub and he named it Selwyn.
Oh.
So I now have a pet pig named Selwyn.
Well, you know,
He's thinking it's part of you do too.
I can't be upset. Well, I can and I am, but
But
not, at least not overtly.
as we had left off last week, we'd put on a fantastic show in Carrick, the major port we'd arrived in on this new island. And we had made our way up the coast to Matt and Cleve, and more importantly, around to the first of the Aeon Towers dotted throughout the Swartlands. Killed some trogs outside, ascended the great stairs to the entryway halfway up the mud brick stone walls, and headed inside to face with a lot of very powerful and very terrifying opposition. At the end of it, though it was very sketchy,
No, we had it under control the whole time.
very sketchy in several situations, we made it up a ways, up a decent distance, and we ended up here in a chamber strewn throughout with rubble. Lots of broken glass, fragments of clay and porcelain. And now, two giant machines. Alchemical golems that had finally ground to a halt. And Arabis and Ara rushing, just barely able to reach and revive their fallen comrades before death just barely didn't take Zerg. I think that's the closest Zerg's come to the end of the Batsky lineage since
No, he's
Like
been
our
dying free once. Yeah.
third episode. Yeah, it was
Oh,
like it was.
right, you're referring back to I think that was episode 5.
He was dying 3
Yeah.
the first time you fought with one of the druids, but he went down with persistent damage on him in the middle of a swarm.
No, he was dying. I remember dying free against the boss fight of the
Multiple times.
the Hermitage. Because I remember the song I wrote about it.
Right,
Yeah, that
right,
was one
right.
too.
So it's been it's been a minute since Zerg
Yeah,
has
it's been a
come
while.
so truly close
He's
to
fine.
death here.
Zerg
He's
is on
fine.
a name-to-name basis with Pharasma.
No, because he never quite gets there. So Arabis,
he has a cup of tea and leaves.
Arabis had rushed to expend the last of her magic to heal Selwyn, as Ara was using some of his own to pick Zerg up. We hadn't actually rolled that yet, so if you want to throw me some opening dice here to get us started,
Okay.
in no particular order.
The last one is.
Do a risky search or just fucking kill him.
Yeah, that's for Zerg.
Yeah.
41
And,
health back to Zerg, which will bring him to life.
The last of my energy and that the cackling lightning and everything just fades, and I let out like a gasp and stumble a little bit as I give this last bit to you, Selwyn.
Yay.
12.
You know, we call that conscious.
Yeah.
But by the gods, I wish I wasn't.
That's conscious is what that is. So, with that quick rush of magic, all of the party now is at least alive, awake. And with these enormous golems crashing down, shattering, there are assorted oils, viscous fluids leaking throughout the mudstone floor. the chamber again kind of resumes its quiet. As this far inside the tower, you don't even have the trees, the breeze, the sounds of the birds outside. Just the occasional clatter of some rubble kicked around by your own feet. Sound of your own movements.
I'm pulling out my tankard. I'm doubting that shit in one gulp.
I'm just gonna sit in the sun here and get the rest of my resonant reflection here as my kind of absorb this light coming in through this hole in the ceiling.
And as you
I'm
stood
gonna
under,
sit next to Barkbeard.
as the two of you moved and stood under this pillar of light, this beam coming down from above, your resonant reflections you'd received from the first tower would run their course, healing the lion's share of your wounds, doing a great amount to put you back to fighting fit, as you can physically watch whirls and knots of your own wooden flesh pull themselves back together. Stretches of sinuous plant fiber reaching out and pouring over damages or even entire breaks. You can feel it drawing you back together. It happens so quickly. And even after the reflection is faded, as the two of you stand here under this light, this accelerated healing still continues, dramatically diminished, but as you stand under this, you are still going to have fast healing 1.
Oh, cool. 50.
And Arbus, as you look over Zerg and Selwyn falling on the floor here in pools of their own blood and burnt flesh in Selwyn's case, barely conscious, what are you doing?
I mean, making sure someone's okay as she's sipping her booze.
I'm not okay. I need to be really drunk or really dead, and I'm choosing the former.
I mean, I would, with a deep breath and a little bit of focus, trying to start digging around and prepare to start treating wounds if we're going to hang out here for a little bit.
Yep. I think we should go outside.
And it does not look like there is much other direction that this room leads. The single doorway through which you'd entered in the southeast, but not even a doorway really so much as just a hall that expanded into this large chamber, is the only way in or out, save for that shaft of light filtering down up above Barkbeard and Ara. And even as the three of you can watch this luminous pillar here, the two Leshies standing under it almost have a faint glow to them. The room itself becomes a little brighter, like they themselves are almost reflecting or giving off their own version of this light pouring down.
Well, I'm not sure if it's because I'm plant and sunlight I'm particularly susceptible, but it really feels quite lovely under this light.
Maybe we should all sit under the light. It would be easier for me to work. I can see and it would feel nice.
Lay on my back and stretch out. This is nice and warm and comfortable. I'm tired.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
I would tug on Selwyn to come with me over to the light.
Must I? Must I move?
Yes.
Slowly making my way down.
And as the two of you moved in, you would feel much the same. Arbus, you as well were pretty dramatically injured in this fight. Near everybody was. But as you pass under the light, you can feel the worst of your wounds, their flow start to slow. The blood matting and clumping. And again, over the course of the next minute or two, you'd be able to physically see progress as the two sides of a slash, the skin crawled towards one another, almost reaching to bind back together. You would also both have fast healing 1 way underneath this light. In fact, any of you would, were you to sit underneath it. And though it is 4 squares, that where combat reasons you can't all sit under there. I mean, a 10 by 10 area is plenty large enough for 5 people to sit under. So all of you could gather under this light as Arubis worked to tend to the worst of your wounds. And it would feel rejuvenating, almost relaxing in a way, as if the physical traumas from that pain and just the exhaustion of your battles seem to fade incredibly quickly. Like you're reinvigorated by this light coming down through the ceiling.
Someone,
What?
what's next? I don't see a way past this room.
This do not. Wait.
I'm gonna go along the walls and like kind of knock in various, try and hear the sounds of the wells, see if anything's thinner or thicker with my, good investigation skills.
You go through very cautiously checking with your suspicion. Give me a perception check there, Barkbeard, as you are by far the least wounded at this point. The rest of the party languishes in the light here.
Ooh, baby. Natural 20. Oh, man.
That's how you start a session.
First D20 roll of the session. Just bang it out of 20 immediately. The room is decently large, about 40 feet long and half that across. There's quite a large amount of wall space. That's not even counting the 2 larger alcoves in which the robots had been sitting before they'd set upon you. The ceiling is pretty high up overhead. The apex of the arched roof 20 feet up above you, making the whole of the chamber almost a square shaft that extends down. And you are but a small Leshy, so you can only easily reach the bottom, maybe 6 feet of this. How tall is Barkbeard? Not very, right?
Well, it depends which vines and branches are going which direction.
But as you work your way around, checking every bit of this, it all seems to be wholly solid. Every inch of this seeming no different from the rest. The 2 alcoves don't seem to bear any kind of secrets whatsoever. And the holes of the wall around you seems to be several feet thick at the very least. There's no indication you can find of any kind of hidden traps, doors, or chutes. It does truly seem like the only 2 passages here are the way you came in and the shaft up above. That said, you do find some interesting marks in the stone floor in the northern half of the room. Large gouges and scrapes that indicate that something once stood or sat here. The machines themselves, as they fought, were quite large and heavy, and their clawed metal feet did crunch through the mudstone pretty well themselves, but this looks different from that. This looks more like there was something massive and heavy, several of them perhaps, set up throughout the northern half of the room that had been removed. Large metal or stone crates of some kind, pieces of furniture. What it was is unclear. But it's here no longer.
Well, how did you guys get up to the top of the tower last time?
We used the stairs.
Where exactly are those?
Wow. Well,
Are they?
so what you're saying is there's no other stairs?
Oh,
You couldn't
no.
find them?
Well, not that I could see, although not having been in the other tower, I figure they would have been more obvious, but they're not leading from this room, as far as I can tell.
Or it just kind of looks up. I mean, I can go up there.
How can you?
Well, kinda.
Kinda.
I can fly for a little bit.
Can you fly all the way to the top?
I don't know. It depends on how far up it is.
I could throw you halfway. Throw you.
Yes, I could throw Zerg, and then he can throw you, and then you can fly.
Are we talking about that new
I
circus
have-
trick you came to me the other day about?
Well, I have a interjection here. I'll reach into the backpack, and for what you mere mortals all surely forgot, I'll pull out the rope that goes up.
What?
Rope that goes up.
We have a magical rope.
This was a
that can
very
go up.
suspicious rope, though. It was from a very suspicious man.
I don't think you guys would probably recognize the name. It was a magical climbing sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Well, yes, I do remember. It was a rather stressful time in my life, so I try not to think too much about it, but I do remember this rope.
And once again, Sal Sartan, Sal Swordporium saves the day.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
guarantee.
no guarantees.
It was like 50 feet or whatnot.
I don't remember how many feet it was, but I know it's gonna save us.
We also have a flying horse, although it is rather far away.
He's far away, yeah.
Is he Pegasus?
That's what,
Right.
That is what a
Walker said.
Yeah.
This is different. This horse, but he likes to be called Pegasus.
But it
Well,
likes
he's
to be
not
called
here, around
Miss
here,
Dancer.
so-
Missed answer, yeah.
And he doesn't like it when you look him in the eyes, but that's another story.
Is that what happened when you got bit that one time?
Sorry?
He didn't bite me. No, that did not happen.
Wait, whoa.
Are you sure? Because I kind of remember those horse-shaped teeth marks in your arm that
That's-
one time.
Masako was being unruly one day, and
It was Miss Dancer.
this is not what happened at all. No,
Hmm.
I was trying to talk to him, and she all was no, it was Masako. Sit still, Selwyn. I'm trying to stitch you.
All you're trying to stitch together is a bad excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So, Arvis, why don't you roll me a medicine check here for the aids you're providing your team while you rest under the light?
Okay. I'm gonna use a guidance on this. How about that?
You gotta stab me
Sounds
with
good.
Carl.
Sounds good to me.
As I can. That's not what I wanted to click, but that's good because that was not what I wanted. Get that out of the way right
It's a sick one. Okay.
now. Add one to that. 38 for a medicine check.
So the 38, you would, with this restorative light here, almost doing a lot of the more difficult tasks for you, pulling the worst wounds closed and sealing them once you'd managed to bandage or suture them close before your very eyes here. With your assistance with this light, not only are Zerg and Selwyn no longer going to be wounded, over that 10 minutes, the four of you under this light, with your attention, are certainly going to be restored all the way to full health. You don't need to roll there. You're rolling like a plus 50 or something, and then you also have fast healing 1 the entire time. You guys are definitely at full health.
Did you say Zerg's not wounded anymore?
I did say Zerg's not wounded anymore.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
I did
So-
take you wounded, Zuff.
All right.
So, what are you doing?
So up
Where
is
we
the
have a
only way to
rope.
go? We have to go up then, right?
Well, do we
That's
have
what
to? No. Are we going to?
I wanna.
Yes.
Selwyn, we have to fix the tower. I have to fix the tower.
How are we supposed to fix it exactly? How did you do it before?
We killed big, scary, angry, ugly lizard thing on top of tower, and everything was okay.
Ah,
What is it?
so are we ready to fight a big, ugly, scary thing at the top of this tower?
Sure ain't, but yeah, let's do it anyway.
I am
Alrighty then.
I am okay enough, I guess, to continue, but it is what it is, as they say, right?
Quite.
It is what it
Yes.
So, how far up is the ceiling where the hole
The
is?
ceiling where the
before
hole
we
is
even-
20 feet above you. And looking up, you can see clearly from the light coming down the shaft. It's not bright enough to be blinding. And in fact, even though it is relatively bright light, it's not painful or unpleasant at all to look directly up into. The shaft appears to continue another 40 to 50 feet beyond that, making the hole from where you are to the top of it around 70 feet up.
Ooh.
And how wide is the hole? It's 10 feet.
The hole's about 5 feet wide.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know, but I read a story one time about people climbing back to back where they leaned on each other's backs and then walked up like all cool style.
Will you tell me this story sometime?
Can someone
yes,
carry
yes.
me up while I hold on to their backs because I'm not very strong?
Ara's
And all of you would certainly still be feeling the latent weakness from whatever it was that Roper had slathered you with on its tentacles.
I was trying to
I
forget.
still think we could manage. Maybe we could just tie the three of you onto me and Zerg as we do that cool back.
Ara's going to just clap his hands together, produce a little bit of flame, and cast elemental motion on himself as he sprouts flaming wings from his back. I'm gonna fly up first and look. I really don't want us to waste our time going up there for nothing.
Can
Oh,
you
that's
make it
good
all
idea.
the way? It is pretty high.
If not, I will catch you on the way down because you fall very slowly.
That's explosive elemental motion.
So, Ara, as you make your way sailing upwards to the top of this shaft, and let me give you some light because the top of this is perfectly bright. There we go. You would arrive flying upwards at 70 or so feet with no real difficulty to the very peak of the tower itself. A room pyramidal in shape. The walls are corbelled and rise at a very steep angle to an apex about 50 or so feet overhead. At this peak, a cylindrical shaft continues another 10 feet before opening up to the sky at the point of the tower. This opening easily illuminating the entirety of this upper platform. The light from the Aeon Orb above is even brighter here, shining directly down that shaft, and even during those strange moments where it dims an odd brown, casting the room in light near as bright as the day's sun itself. However, as the Aeon Orb rotates the top of the tower, the light up here spins around as well, causing the shadows to whirl errantly in strange random directions, and an almost dizzying and sort of sickening display just from the motion. There are 4 alcoves, one in each wall of this chamber. You're coming up in the southern one here, up this shaft. And in each of those and throughout the entire room is a massive clutter of crates and glass and metal contraptions. Boxes, mirrors, liquid-filled tubes, copper wiring, gouts of steam and occasional puffs of smoke coming out from different parts of this as other sections light up or spray strange rays of sparks a few inches across the stone. But the good news is behind you at the top of this, there is a winch, pivoted away from the hole with a very simple hoist and pulley system that looks like were you to just simply turn it back over the hole, could lower a wooden platform down to the room below to easily raise the rest of your comrades up. This whole room is filled with a strange, low humming, originating from all these various connected apparatuses. At the northern side, at the apex of all of this, here, you can even see it on the map, there is a rough-cut crystal. White more than clear, about 3 feet across. Resting on the floor, connected to all kinds of tubes and wires coiled to a machine around its base. It glows with a strange inner fire. Every so often, this light swinging around the room comes directly down the shaft to the crystal, to the northern edge, hitting it directly, which causes a spray of sparks around the area as the crystal ignites and brightens, and the light coming down from the orb dims and takes on a brown shade.
Oh, that's confusing. I want to step over and get this pulley over the hole and situate it and yell down, Selwyn, I found something
What?
interesting.
What'd you find, buddy?
I lower the pulley.
And all of you will be able to see up this shaft of light the lift move over and the wooden platform slowly lowering itself down as Aura turns the winch at the top, literally sending an elevator down to the group of you.
Oh, that's
I
much easier than I thought it was going to be.
I recommend Barkbeard first. He's not that heavy and I'm not that strong.
All right, I will be there in a jiffy.
The Barkbeard is the first to come up this elevator as well and see this display before all that Aura had seen. Before, I'm assuming, is anybody not coming up the elevator? Okay. Before, yeah, I figured. I'm just like, I'm not gonna throw anybody up here if you, for some reason, just wanted to, you're having a perfectly good time hanging out at the bottom sitting. Before all of you arrive in this strange chamber. This is a far cry from the top of the previous tower. Its terminus had been a massive flat platform, all exposed to the air, tipped with a pillared structure only over its very center. But this is a much smaller single chamber at the very peak of the Wellspring Tower, only open to the sky in a single cylindrical tunnel at the very top.
What do you suppose all this is? I ain't never seen anything like it.
I'm not quite sure. It looks rather complicated.
I'm gonna touch something.
Looks like they're stealing the power of the stone.
As you as you walk up and just kind of touch, like, what are you touching? Just kind of a box. There's a lot of stuff here. If you just touch like a box, I mean, it's a wooden box and stuff's literally set on and around. Nothing's really gonna happen.
Something that looks important.
If you touch something that looks important, just touching it, the whole apparatus seems to be relatively warm. All the various glass canisters, containers, interconnecting metal parts definitely have accumulated some heat. It's not enough to burn you or do any damage. But it all seems to be somewhat haphazard. It's not particularly stable, whatever this all is. And if your just gentle touch shifts a bit, whatever it is that you have already risking loosening or detaching some connections.
No. I won't touch you anymore. It's okay. It's okay.
Wait, so is this? Does anybody see any markings of? I know that Trogs have their own kind of language. Does anybody see if this is like super Trog related, or? I find it hard to believe from what I've seen of Trogs that they could make anything of this sort.
Well, if you're looking around the area, why don't you give me a perception check, Barkbeard? Or anybody else who wishes to investigate the machine or the room.
Sure thing, Johnny.
Barkbeard's incredibly distracted by whatever all of this is.
He's like, a fiddly bit over here. This is very interesting looking. I don't know.
26 perception for me.
30.
So, Arabis, as you look around, you can see, even without really having any understanding of what any of this is or how it all works, it's clear enough to you just from the light and the heat moving through this as the Aeon Orb revolves around the tower, that the crystal is absorbing whatever latent power that the orb itself puts out and moving it throughout this machine. But as far as you can see looking around, it's not storing it. It's not taking it and stealing it and putting it somewhere for later use. It just seems to be burning it off, just dissipating it entirely. Selwyn, as you look around the area, you would come across something behind a couple of the boxes on the western side of the room. Several thin metal sheets, squares with rounded corners, almost just like a thicker foil, held together through holes punched in the top left corner and a ring of metal. It comes together almost like a thick, full metal booklet of some kind that is covered in diagrams and notes written in Undercommon. This appears to be a not so much instruction manual or anything, but a research journal by whoever had put this together, detailing various parts, components, their purposes, and what this entire thing is for.
Well, so it seems it must be Trogs then. I find it very surprising that it was... I don't know. Wait, have you guys seen much intelligence from these Trogs? As far as we've been concerned recently, most of them just have thing and hit you with thing.
It doesn't matter who is doing this. It needs to stop now. I feel like we should disconnect this immediately. This is siphoning the power of the stone. This is killing things.
Can we just hit it really hard, or is there a specific, off switch? I know R is very good at finding off switches.
I would like to read through the research notes if there's anything about turning this off.
Looking through, it doesn't look like it was built to be a temporary thing, and it doesn't appear to have any easy deactivation. Additionally, even though the technological... What's your proficiency in crafting, Selwyn?
Oh, I'm fucking garbage.
Completely
I have
untrained?
nothing. Yep.
So yeah, a lot of this is very over your head, with levels of engineering and physics that you certainly were never taught and don't understand. But it seems clear from a lot of the notations and just the pure power running through this that the machine itself is quite volatile, and if it was disassembled haphazardly, could just release all of the energy it's dissipating from the orb, possibly removing the tower and everybody in it from the Swordlands completely.
Well, there goes that option.
I would
That
like
said,
to translate what the notes say to Ara, who I know knows about crafting.
And Ara, as Selwyn pointed out and explained these various Zolgath runes across this to you, it would make a lot of sense, and much as you'd been wondering, though this seems to be Trog in origin, this is incredibly high level. This thing is extraordinarily complex and was designed for this explicit purpose. Whoever wrote this was a masterful architect, but with these notes, it should be possible to safely disassemble. Still risky, but much, much less so.
Well, I don't understand half of what you just said, Selwyn, but I think I get the general gist.
Oh, that's more than what I understood. I didn't understand shit.
Maybe I can not unfix it. Make it where it doesn't do things.
Okay.
It's still dangerous, though. I wouldn't feel safe with you. I wouldn't feel comfortable with you guys up here when I did it.
So you would need to be up here, obviously, to do it, and you would need Selwyn here because these formulas and everything that they are using, a lot of these designs, are too complex to easily commit to memory. You would still need Selwyn or somebody to be actively translating bits of this to you for reference as you went. But it seems you need to take the machine down in 3 parts. the machinery on the western and the eastern flanks of the room, and then the crystal itself powered down.
Didn't you say if this thing doesn't work, it would just explode the whole tower? So it doesn't matter if we're here or down at the bottom, would it?
Don't tell me that, please. Just go down.
I cannot leave. I need to be here for this.
Arbus, Barkbeard, sir, take Arbus with you. I don't want her up here.
That's not your choice to make, Ara. This is part of my destiny.
Do you want me to stop it or not?
Yes,
well,
I want you to
We also
stop
don't want
it.
to distract Ara. I mean, he is working quite hard here. I can give Selwyn my shield here, and if you just make a nice little...
But what if something happened and I won't be here to save you?
And as you're looking over this, and Ara and Selwyn are still referencing this sheet here, Selwyn, you would hear a voice in your mind.
Oh, never mind. Oof, not at all.
Oh, this is certainly interesting. I should have come to this tower in the first place. Someone with half of a brain worked here. You know, after dealing with school for so long, I just kind of assumed that Zolgats were borderline incapable of competent or cohesive thought, but this is downright impressive. Hold on one moment.
What am I holding on to?
Well, I'm going to help you, obviously.
Oh, nice. Sorry. You know, my impending doom is making me a bit out of it.
And as she severs that for a moment, disconnecting the thought there, all of you would hear a flash of magic back behind Selwyn as Tilvi stepped forth seemingly from nowhere into the room.
Huh.
In her human guise, just as you had last seen her at the top of the previous tower. Leaning over Selwyn's shoulder and Ara's, looking down at this set of notes. Oh, well, hello again, everyone.
Hi, Tilby.
What? Who? What?
You step away from her right now, or I will drop you with a lightning bolt where you stand.
Hold up a second. It's all good.
What
Thank
do you mean it is all good?
I mean exactly what I said.
What?
Look,
So you are the one that smells remarkably. Barkbeard is like inching right up next to her and
Zerg over the corner of this
Ooh, smell.
looks pissed in the distance. Stand there, almost like angry confusion on his face. Until he just kind of looks up and smiles to Barkbeard. Perhaps, though that is certainly an odd way to greet a lady. Look, I'm simply
Well,
here
used to
to...
it.
I'm here to help.
Tempting me for some while here. How are you? How is your smell so attached to Selwyn?
We're friends.
Probably because I've been helping Selwyn.
That's
Look, it's just been assistance. You all have found yourselves, have you not, pulled into something far beyond running a circus or anything that you could hope to understand, really. These towers, these Aeon orbs, ancient Erodonite prophecies, that's quite above the pay grade of a traveling circus. So I offered to help. And help I am.
You could also, if you, at some point I'd like to discuss, you might be able to help me figure out how I'm supposed to consume the nutrients out of others. I feel like you would know more about this than anyone.
Ugh.
It's an
I've asked
odd
so far.
assumption, but perhaps not unfounded. There's a strange commons between the two of us, my friends, more than I think either of
What
us
you
may
would
even
like.
grasp. Who is this, by the way, Selwyn? I quite like him.
That's Smartbeard.
This is the
Hemlock
Barkbeard.
Barkbeard.
I have heard much of you. Selwyn speaks
Yes.
rather fondly of your advances.
That's one way
He
of
finds
saying
them
it.
quite endearing, truly.
Nope. No.
I figured as much. You know, you can only go so long without, you know.
Ugh. Tilby, must you make things worse?
Only having a bit of fun, my love.
Why are you talking to her like you are friends, like me?
Please,
Because we are
Arbus.
friends.
I understand why perhaps you may have your reasons not to trust me, but I didn't quite know what to make of the situation before. I was in a tower full of trogs, a school in his asinine advances towards both me and the previous Aeon Orb, and the group of you coming barging out of nowhere. But once I realized my mistake, I helped Selwyn, did I not? And were it not for that, where would the rest of you be? With your lizard friend?
So
Zerg runs. Zerg's running at her. Running at her. I'm running at her.
Do you,
What am I gonna do? I can't stop him.
do you want to roll initiative, comrade?
I would
do you
like
want-
to
or
try and
is
step
this
in
like
front.
Fucking bet your ass I do. I'm rolling
Oh,
initiative.
this is okay. All right. Let me.
can we
I have
not
to-
fight?
I
on
have to
top of-
add you to the thing. All to the thing
Oh.
first. To tag everyone here.
What you fucking talk about me? Fucking bitch.
Don't you talk about my lizard?
Can we not fight on top of the highly unstable tower?
Nope, this is what the campaign ends.
All right. If you want to roll it, feel free to roll it.
Oh, now?
Yeah, I set the thing up now, so you should be able to roll it now.
Oh no!
And this is reacting to Zerg freaking charging forward.
Yeah, I'm running. Huh?
He's going in.
I'm shocked.
He... That's not what I wanted. Nah, I'll take it. That's okay.
Fucking bitch. You fucking cop a big green fist is what you're gonna fucking get. Fucking talk about my fucking lizard. I'll fucking kill you.
Ooh, I'm gonna villain point that one for Tilby here. Spend one of mine. I'll use one of the ones from Zurich, because I got 2 from him, 3 from TNT, but his are Elder, so I'll start there. And then, how do I guess I could just manually set her initiative for that. Because I don't actually have her connected to a sheet anymore.
Rip.
Alrighty. Arbus, you see at the mention of Lizard Man, Zerg just rush forward. And right behind him. You're the first to react here.
I'm gonna see that where this is going. I'm gonna run to in front of him, and I'm gonna stand in front of him, and I'm just gonna say, "I agree with you. This is not the place for this fight, Mr. Batsky. Stop." That's me.
Okie dokie. Well,
We're gonna go kaboom.
that's Zerg.
Well, I guess Zerg could listen to reason. Yeah, it is a dangerous place to fight, and my teammates don't really want me to fight here. Fuck that! I'm angry. We're running in. I'm pushing past everybody. I'm gonna move up, around, like fucking shoulder barge past, up and around both Selwyn and Erebus. So I'm right next to this bitch, and I'm just gonna grab her around the throat. Because I'm made. With a 34 on the athletics check.
Hey, 34 is absolutely going to successfully grab a hold of Tilby.
And I'm gonna punch her in the fucking head. I'm made. I'm fucking made.
He's upset about the situation.
33 to hit on the punch to the head.
Is that with the -4? For your
Uh,
second attack?
Oh yeah, second attack. Sorry, so minus
29.
5,
29 will still hit her though.
Good. Just run up, grab, poof, with a 12 damage. I ain't
And
having
as
it.
you
I ain't having it.
you smash her with a pretty good fist. And she doesn't react much or particularly quickly. She turns and just does it, but she doesn't recoil very much to the hit either. As your fist connects, you do this 12 points of damage. She flinches a bit, kind of winces, her face dropping to a frown, but her head doesn't move much as you hit her. Ara.
Are we? Is getting everyone else killed worth it, Zerg, to punch her? I'm just gonna walk over here and start looking at stuff. I can't stop Zerg. I'm a little twig.
Accurate, you are a little twig.
Might as well just take me off the combat. Just
Start looking at things.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't roll.
Tilby, as she's grabbed onto here, and it gets kind of smacked and her head rolls a little bit. She just kind of winces and frowns. Looks down at Zerg. Oh, I'm sorry, is this still a sore spot for you? I'm simply trying to prevent such a horrible situation from happening again. And she is going to acrobatics against your athletics for a 29.
The athletics DC,
Yeah,
which is my thing plus 10, is it?
thing plus 10,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, so she'll 28 on that. So. That's a success.
Okay, and as she twists away out from your grip here, gonna step just a little bit back out of range towards the machinery behind her. With a bit of a grin, I just gesture back at this. Were I you, I would listen to Ara. This looks highly volatile. I could be gone in a moment, but if this all explodes, I don't know you can say the same for the rest of you. Let me help.
Sylvia, I'm not really sure why you're trying to appeal to reason here. I don't think that's gonna work.
And, Selwyn. She pulled herself away, but she doesn't move much further from Zerg. She still stays right there.
I'm observing.
Darkbeard. Got anything?
Barkbeard rolls behind Selwyn over to the other side, on the other side of the wall, and vines are going to start entangling around Zerg. And I am going to try and grab Zerg. Because that's always a great idea. I've always learned.
Everything Zerg works
26.
great historically. 26? Against your Fortitude DC?
Fort DC.
Almost
is-
positive that
I'm
fails.
almost positive it doesn't work, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 29 on your Fort DC.
29. Yeah.
He's big. If he doesn't
Um,
want to get grabbed, he doesn't get grabbed.
But more vines are just gonna kind of keep entangling around. I will try again. For worse. There's just a lot of branches all over the place and
gropey
it's not really
vines.
working.
Ugh. Not the grumpy ones.
And yeah, that's just what I'll do. That is my turn.
Oh, Arbus. What's Zerg looking like right now?
He's covered in vines that are holding on to him, but he's not nothing's happening. Like they just on him.
I mean, he's
And,
still
like,
Finds around a bulldozer.
he's still going nuts. Is he still swinging?
Oh yeah. Is Arabus not doing anything?
Oh, that's why I was at for Arbus that turn here.
Oh sure. Well, Zerg's nothing. He ain't stopping. Zerg's pissed.
I see that he's not stopping. I assess the room. Can I tell how big I can get if I were to try to go into a wolf form without damaging anything?
If you got bigger than large in here, it would get very questionable very fast.
Shit. So that's like, if I got bigger than that's level 4, so I can't get huge. Definitely not huge.
Yeah, you could get large somewhat safely. So yeah, you could do 4th level. You couldn't safely do 5th level animal form. You couldn't go with the big nuts.
Okay, so yes. I'm seeing that he's not listening to reason. I'm gonna start to. Yeah.
Has he ever?
I see Barkbeard's trying. I'm gonna try to help, and I am gonna start growling and slowly start turning into a large wolf, black with highlights of blue fur. Boy, I pressed the button, but I vanished. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either, because the token's right here. There it is.
Oh,
that
good.
was weird. I was like, I saw the
delayed on
token. I
me.
just had to move it back before it popped up for everybody.
And I have 10-foot reach with this.
Yep.
I would like to try to grapple him as a wolf and stop him.
Well,
Big-
I'm very small, so.
With big
Dog
wolf
mouth.
paws, just like.
Just, yeah.
Stop.
My athletics is plus 16. 20 plus 16. I don't have a
Totally
minus or anything
works.
because I didn't do any attacks or anything, right?
Nah.
You didn't.
Animal form doesn't have an attack right now.
Okay, I'm gonna try to grapple him with my mouth for a natural 20. 36.
That'll do
You
it.
are, wow. Okay, yeah.
This
with
man's pinned. The first
this
man
man
ever.
is, in fact, wholly restrained. Zerg can take no actions other than to try to escape your mouth. As you grab him and what do you do to him here?
I
You can't do
reach over
anything.
Barkbeard, I just kind of like he's a chew toy, but I'm not like trying to hurt him. I just put my mouth around him and just trying to keep him from pinning his arms to his side if I can, so he can't do anything violent.
You're holding them back pretty effectively. Zerg.
Well, I'm gonna try and get out of it. 31
Is
to
it
break the.
31 beat your athletics DC, large wolfman.
Jesus. Okay, so to figure that out, I add 10 to what
10 to your athletics.
26 would be my athletics. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's gonna get out of that one. He's gonna physically push your jaws away, muscle his way out. Escaping does
Covered
count
in
as an
vines
attack.
and dog saliva. Bust out of it, and I'm gonna basically pounce onto Tilby to try and like push her down to the ground and get like on top to pummel.
So trip to grapple, right?
So I guess is it a grapple or a trip? Because I want her
Well,
down.
you
I
want
can't
to
do both, can I?
knock her down and then grab onto her. So you could do a trip into a grapple.
That's what I'll do. I'll trip first, I guess. It's more of a shove than a trip, but the action is to trip.
A big meaty shove.
Yeah. Which is
Shove over.
athletics again.
Athletics again, yeah. -5 because escaping takes an attack trait.
I'm gonna hero point it.
oh my
Session
god!
reroll, but yeah.
25. Oh yeah, session reroll.
So with a 25, as you try to push her down, she doesn't let you manhandle her as easily the second time. And she stands pretty firm, just sliding one foot back a little bit across the stone and putting her weight there as you push onto her shoulders. And not moving much as you go to shove her.
I'm still mad. I'm still swinging. Oh, let's take a swing with a punch because I'm mad. I'm still angry.
It's
and I
attack
still want to
3.
hurt. Yeah. Everybody, I'm sorry.
No. Totally get it.
I don't get it.
29.
He's going to get
Natural 20.
It's a natural 20 is, I think, a pertinent part of that. He's going to get the big whap as you come in swinging wide. You can't push over, but she's standing firm. You are going to get a solid smack.
I'd like to do 15 damage.
And with a net 20, that's going to be 30 damage, actually.
Oh, of course.
As you kind of snap her head a little bit there. Ara is over at the machinery on the other side of the room. He's not interested in what's
Ara
going
doesn't
on.
give a fuck.
Actually, Aura, listening to all of this, flames start flickering around him. He turns around, his voice drops. Child, will you please think with your head for once before you get your whole family killed? He's gonna cast Fear on Zerg.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I need Zerg to make me a will save.
Oh, shit.
27.
So you're frightened as visual, like, maybe moments from your childhood when you're a kid, when you would get punished for wrongdoings, for not thanking, for doing something stupid, start to break their way into your head. But since you did succeed, they quickly brush them aside. You're still frightened. It still lingers a little bit.
You are
Frightened.
basically terrified, frightened one by this. Is that all for
As-
you, Ara?
Yeah. That was incredibly loud.
And, Hilvi, I don't have my thing all the way up. I don't know if you have your thing all the way up. I have my thing at like half. Is what it's balanced for. That's the odd part of us having our all user end things. Tilvi is going to step back behind Selwyn here. Taking this hit still.
Brave.
Reaching up, putting one hand up below her eye, up on her cheekbone where she'd been punched, and looking over towards Ara. I think you should listen to reason here, Zerg. And this is the last I'll ask. Selwyn, my love, I cannot understand the company you keep.
I can't understand why you appeared here. I mean, we all have our quirks.
You wish
Also
to
help.
handle this yourself?
Well, I mean, you must have known. There's no way you didn't know what kind of reaction it was going to have.
Very well. Fine. Best of luck then, all of you. Ratio Yanwam. And as she casts this spell, again, with a quick flash of magic, she steps towards the center of the room, fading out of sight as quickly as she had arrived. And leaving the group of you alone with each other. Dave,
That's my favorite part.
only for Selwyn here. Still gonna hear the voice in her head. Ridiculous. Well, I do hope that little plant friend of yours can figure this all out, because it's...
I'll visually image kaboom noise.
Well, I hope not. It didn't go far. Worst case scenario, I'm still waiting in the wings, don't you worry. You can
I'll
get
do
a
another kaboom
handle
noise.
on your beast.
As she disappears, Zerg's gonna like run to where she last was and like spear tackle the air, diving across the room and hitting the machinery behind.
And as you fly into that, and you bump one of the crates of machinery here, there is a small pulse of energy, the sound of a blast, as a wave of force ripples out from some of the glass and metal that he's hit, and it is going to wash a shockwave that doesn't even move the bits of rubble and pebbles on the floor. Doesn't blow back your clothes whatsoever, barely even moves the air, but rips through each of you like a blade. And everyone is going to take 7 points, of force damage.
That would have been useful against the robots.
Now then, will everyone else besides someone please go downstairs?
I don't really want to, let's see, but
I'd be
I guess
growling
I'll
at
leave.
Durg as I shrink down into Arabus, who's also growling when she comes back.
So just growls back, and fucks off downstairs. You hear banging and clattering from down the stairs. He's punching everything that
Well,
he
you
can see.
get to the elevator, which you would still need to wait for someone to winch you down. One of them has to
Forgot about
winch
the
you.
elevator.
It is it's big enough that, I mean, it's 5 feet, but it's the three of you can fit in there. It's like a standard smallish elevator. Arbus, Barkbeard, are you getting on?
I'm going to weave through, wrap, kind of daintily, wrap some vines around Selwyn,
Nope.
and then
No, you're
just
not.
ducks out. But I keep weaving it into this really big shield. I'm like, well, if you need something to hide behind, this works quite well. And then
I
will
actually
also jump on
appreciate the
back.
gesture, Barkbeard. Thank you.
And Farbeard is just like. Then it goes onto the elevator.
I look at Aura. The second this is done, you come get me.
Promise.
I look over at Selwyn. And then I go.
I look back.
I'll winch them down.
Are they out of sight? Gone?
Oh yeah, as you spin the winch and lower the three of them down the shaft, it would just leave the pair of you up here in this chamber.
And I'll look to Ara. You're not gonna have a psychopathic attack all of a sudden if she comes back, right?
No.
And I'll in my mind fix it, Sylvie. You can come back now. He's gone. I would very
Along-
much appreciate the help.
Alongside Ara, Sylvie again steps back out from the air, and you can see her eyes look almost like an elf's. The black of her pupils expanded over the entirety of her eyeballs for a moment as she arrives. Just jet blackness with a tinge of red, barely visible around the outsides. And she blinks, turns her head one way and the other, cracking her neck, and opens her eyes back up from the look as normal as they traditionally do. Well then.
So, I'm assuming this one's here because she can help, right?
She is. Long story short, Ara. At the top of the tower, I traded power for the. I traded, freedom for the power to protect my friends. Although, one still slipped.
Oh well. I'm not one to judge what people do for others.
I will admit, engineering and... I don't know if you could call this alchemy necessarily, have never truly been my strong points. But magic very much is. As now, after a few weeks of research, are these Aeon orbs. And I see that whatever it is that you have there that you've been referencing.
A journal. Well, I'll show it to her.
She takes it and starts looking over the diagrams and everything. I wouldn't have I know I said this, but it just mind-blowing to me that these Zolgats can do so much. Really, I thought they were all just brutish ape men, but this is impressive work. This looks like they'd all designed this themselves, in the field no less. Also very much explains the machines downstairs. Alright. So, now, little one, if I'm understanding this as well as you are, it seems the safest way to do this would be a pair of us dealing with both of these. And she steps over towards the eastern alcove as she hands this manual back to Ara. To deactivate both of these wings at once. Who elsewise would be more volatile? I want the power to largely be concentrated towards the center of this as evenly as possible. You good with your hands there, little stick?
I get by.
This will be a fine test. Suppose I'm ready when you are.
Ours already starting.
Alright, I need you to roll me a crafting check, comrade.
I'm going to use a guidance on this.
Make this a good one, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm just going to add, I'm going to manually add the +1 on my head because I'm having trouble.
That's fine.
Again. What I roll on a die? A 5?
5 indeed is what I see.
I'm going to hero point.
Session reroll, but yeah.
And so it's
Session reroll. Okay. So a 23 total.
So with a 23, you additionally have a +8 bonus from referencing this manual that you have. So that's going to be a 31 as you work to try to carefully dismantle the machinery on the western half of the room. You are able, over the course, and this is done relatively quickly, so maybe 20, 30 seconds, to detach some particular sets of wires, and it has to be done quickly, because the way this thing works, you have to operate between pulses. You wait for the orb to shine directly on the crystal, lose some of its power, and then move by, and for the glow to dim a bit from the machinery, before quickly removing some wires and moving some bits of metal around, toggling some switches, and deactivating components before the crystal reactivates. On the other side of the room, Tilvi is doing the same. And by the time the crystal has shown its light down the northern alcove again, across from its southern rotation, the crystal glows not nearly as brightly, and the light simply dims a little, rather than flickering out to that brownish color. Oh, well, we're not dead, so I'd say that's a fantastic start.
Yeah, I have to
I'll
agree.
say.
Alright. So that does unfortunately leave the complicated part.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm sure, Selwyn, dear, even you can see this crystal is the nexus of all of this. This is an interesting sort of material, actually, that whoever names or annotations on this brought this with them, hauled it up from deep within the Darklands. Not something you'd easily be able to find here on the surface at all. But its resonance is impressive. Now again, this is a little beyond me, so Stick, tell me if you perhaps might even understand this better. There's no guarantee the crystal will go quietly, but we've reduced its power as far as we can, so fortune favors the bold.
Yeah, I take off my shield and hand it to someone.
All right, 2 shields. No way to Tower of Commons and Explosion can touch me now.
It's at least better than nothing.
That is true.
It's like, and Aris, before Ari even begins, he sits there and just like knocks his head with both his fists, trying to like look like he's trying to remember something. All right, I got nothing. Let's try.
All right, Ara. Give me one more crafting check.
I'm gonna use a guidance on it. For a 32.
Or a 40 with the manual that you have. Crystal flares with light as the orb moves by. And the machinery and wiring around it, the copper and mirrors that make up this array, directing this glow into the crystal, shudder and spark more than they had previously with these side machines detached. More of the power fizzling. Your time is limited. This revolution, you go to shift the crystal itself. Aura, you work with the main machinery to try to reroute this power, ground everything that you can, and stop any more of it from flowing outward into the contraption itself. And as you do, Tilvi physically shifts the crystal. This thing 3 feet across, 5 feet tall. You're as large, much larger than either of you, coming up almost to her neck. She grabs it with her hands, an outcropping on either side, and lifts it up before her, seemingly with not very much effort. As she holds the crystal, she quickly pivots, dropping it down to the corner with a thud against the stone, the side of the room. As you finish your work, and the Aeon Orb rotates back around to the southern side. The light shining down on the contraption that once held the crystal to no effect. No light, no energy, no sparks flowing through the wiring. The mirrors refracting to nothing, simply playing lights across the walls as the orb moves. The machinery silent.
Did it work?
I don't know, you tell me. I'm not a machinist.
I think it worked. It's not going whoosh anymore.
We haven't gone kaboom yet, so success?
The light inside the room. It's early afternoon. You have the sun overhead as well, shining a decent amount of light down into the top of this tower. The light from the orb, the white light, over the next revolution or two, next 30 seconds, seems to grow, intensify, becoming brighter. The whole room lit to a point that these shadows revolving around almost disappear from the intensity of the light, even reflecting off of the dull matte stone. Tilvi doesn't say anything, but she walks towards the center of the room, her hands down at her sides, looking up like Arabis in the rain into this shaft at the top of the pyramid. This light washes down, staring straight up into the glow. And then finally, the group of you feel it. You feel something come through. Energy washing down, emanating out from the orb, welling up in Ara and Selwyn, even the three of you down at the lower floor at the bottom of the shaft, from the light just billowing down into the room with those two collapsed golems. You feel the reflection resonate with the one you've picked up from the Aberton Tower. Arbus, Zerg, Barkbeard, and obviously Ara at the top of the tower. Along with the reflection of life, each of you now has the reflection of water. You all have a swim speed of 10 feet and can breathe indefinitely underwater. You have a new power once per day, just like the reflection of life. With 2 actions, you can cast Control Water, focusing the native energy of this reflection as a 5th level spell. As this light... oh, go ahead, sorry.
The moment Ara realizes it worked, he gets super excited and holds his hand up for a high five from Tilvi.
But Tilvi, as she looks up into the light here,
Get a high five.
Her eyes start to glow. The red of her iris almost pushing back like a different energy up a bit into this light. And that red expands over the whole of her eyes, and her whole body shudders a moment as her skin loses the pale whiteness of her human form and flashes through with a dull, pale red. Traces of black around the crown of her head, the lines of her jaw, and the back of her neck going down to her shoulders. For a moment before she shudders and drops down to her knees, this color fading back to her normal guise, down to her hands and knees on the stone, gasping for breath. That's something you never quite get used to, is it?
I wouldn't know.
I'm not going to ask questions.
Selwyn, you would feel a similar wash of power here. Something less necessarily pleasant than the rest of the party getting, but still a strong wave of energy, and this reflection bringing itself onto you in its own way. And you get something entirely different that I will... Do you want me to message it to you, or...
Yes, that would be nice.
Let me hand you this real quick.
Well, chat can know. You guys can know. There's no secrets between you and me, chat.
Whereas the rest of the party receives the reflection of water, you receive it as well, but in this twisted, warped form, filtered through Tilvy's power. Where they receive a reflection of water, you receive the reflection of darkness. They have a swim speed and water breathing. You now have constant dark vision. Where once per day they can focus their ability, hone their reflection to control water, you can use it to snuff light. And once per day, as 2 actions, focus to cast Dispel Magic to counteract anything with the light trait, using your proficiency in your class DC or your spell. Your spell is normal if your own magic is better. I don't know your character enough to know which is better of those.
Normal DC, I
I
think.
kind of figured that was why I gave you that one.
Yeah.
And this would not hit you with this calmness, this energy, this reflection, like the relaxation and the peace of waves breaking on the shore. You would hit this more like Tilvy. As for a moment, this light almost inverts, plunging you into a blindness as this crushing weight of darkness weighs on you before your body gains control and takes hold of it.
And everything, even in light, I can tell that everything seems a bit more clear. Like, nice. Cool. Awesome. Alright, can you keep this part secret?
I don't see why, but okay.
Cheers.
Alright. And she pulls herself up, but you still have your hand up, Ara.
Yeah, I still have my hand up. I'm waiting.
She pulls herself up.
You better get that high
You
five.
see a light little high five to Ara. A smile on her face.
Yeah.
Best of work, little stick.
I don't trust you, but at least you got a point in my book. So when you want me to leave you up here to talk to her?
No, I think she's leaving. I wouldn't presume, but...
I have little say in how my physiology interacts with such things. This was put into place by a human god, after all. So...
A bit of an asshole, too, right? Like,
Rodin's history varies quite deeply depending on who is telling it, to my understanding. Oh, I should go. I imagine whether you're returning to your friends below or bringing them back up here. I don't want to deal with your man beast again. Not right now.
No, probably for the best.
I apologize for Zerg's behavior. That's no way to act.
It's okay. I understand. Everyone's reactions to me frequently seem to be quite polarized, though I will admit I typically receive more of the opposite. You've done well.
I hope so,
Selwyn.
given your kind.
There's 2 more of these throughout this sward land, and well, not just in pursuit of power, but also to help those who live here and throughout the Isles. The Trogs need to be removed, and the Orbs need their former glory. Best of luck.
Cheers.
And she almost stumbles forth out of view once more, leaving the 2 of you alone on this upper level.
I gotta admit that was a really good punch from Zerg.
Ah.
Kapow.
Oh, gets a lot of punch again. I start winching the elevator back up to get Selwyn on it.
Alright, let's get back down.
Yep, and I winch her down, and then I just jump down to shoot myself.
The 2 of you arrive back down in the chamber with the rest of the group down at the base of it, where everyone can tell, you can feel this newfound energy within them. It needs no explanation.
See,
Really,
Arbus?
Selwyn, I'm not sure how to handle. It's just let me just scoot back a little bit. Maybe a little bit too close here.
Well,
Well, see, Arbus? We saved the
fucked up.
tower.
I felt it. It happen. Is the orb glowing and everything is good again?
it is going soon.
I was asking Aura.
It is going zoom.
It is. No, seriously, is it fixed? Because
Peachy perfect.
I was worried down here. You guys had no problems with fixing.
No, Aura was a
I-
great instructor.
I never have a problem fixing. Might take some time, but I get it done eventually.
I am impressed. You did this yourselves. This is very good.
Yes. All right. Well, I want to go back to the circus grounds. I am tired.
What do you have a show,
Can you,
dude?
like, reel in your scent at all, Selwyn, or is that like a thing that you cannot control?
Can I do what?
Reel in your scent. It's just really distracting.
I put in
I-
a boat. We leave Barkbeard here. I keep walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you walk in the front. Actually, I'll walk in the front because that'll be in front of you. And then, yes, this will work.
So, I just think it's funny since my foundry broke last time. I have no map, like no fog of war vision at all. Like my entire map, that entire center part of the map is just black.
It is actually kind of funny. You just didn't get it. You are unworthy. But as the group of you make your way out, I will just nugget move everyone because that's easier.
Yay.
Have a nugget.
See inside the wall with magic powers. You make your way back through the halls, through the chamber full of the strange, incredibly complex dart trap rigged throughout the room, and back into the entry hall, where the corpse of the roper is still attached to the ceiling. Whatever exactly it does to hang on up there appears to be relatively effective because
It hangs out.
it's just hanging out. I hate you, but also you love to see
Hang in
it.
there.
Ask it, Al's hanging.
But there is another arrival here at this exit to the tower itself, at the hallway that leads out. And standing tall on the landing at the eastern side. The top of the stairs and the far side of the hallway. You see a creature.
What kind of
That-
creature?
A creature.
Oh no.
Calm thyself, excitable man. We're getting there. A creature that looks like a trog, but not. It seems to bear the same base physical features. The long spined tail, the ridged spine, the general shape of a trog. But its skin is gray. Its scales all but foregone, or to a rough, almost stone-like surface. It looks near as much a golem as it does an actual trog. And it bears a purple robe drawn around its massive, bulging form, the cowl drawn up over its head, and a glass and metal, near spherical eyepiece, almost a monocle, set over one side of its face. She has a wide array of bottles, vials, and potions, both dangling from her belt and set in the straps of a plethora of bandoliers and braces across her body. But as she stands there, waiting at the edge, holding one arm with the other, hand set with a stone and metal spiked gauntlet held in front of her shoulder. She doesn't move. She doesn't reach for any potions. She doesn't make any step towards you. She stands back at this distance, 40 feet, as you come around the corner towards the landing. Just looks for a moment across the group of you, where she opens her mouth and a voice emanates out. Less like speech and more like a sound of stone grating on stone. Parley.
Parley.
I seek no contest of strength, no slaughter, and for once, not to consume. I seek an audience. Parley.
Well, so you're a resident Trog psychopath.
I think we should.
Before the Trog psychopath answers how he wants to handle this, you know it's a great cliffhanger to take a break on.
Oh,
Because it's this. I think it's this. Chance, we're gonna do that thing. TNT, thank you for not only handing us the bits, the hero points, and powering us, but gifting subs in the chat too. Putting a hat on Rastafaris. ZJSA12, thank you for the 39 months. Rejoining us for over 3 years. We're gonna take a break, everybody. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. How we do? Well, today is full of magical surprises. I don't think Trogs have tried to talk to us before. Stay tuned, everybody. Don't go far. Be right back. Something. So as we left off, making your way out of the Wellspring Tower, you were confronted by this strange, stony Trog. Standing between you and the stairs on the landing outside the tower, asking for Harley.
Is Sir currently rushing at him?
Zerg is standing there with his arms folded.
All right, Parley. I'll speak to him in a couple of languages. I'll switch between undercommon and common
She is-
as I'm talking.
she is
Well, what do you
speaking.
prefer? Common, undercommon? I can switch to celestial.
She'll take a step forward into the mouth of the hallway here. Still holding up one claw towards you.
There is no need. Well, you have raided and pillaged. Take back what we aim to raise. I have watched you before we came here. Before you stood against us. What did you do? What were you?
What, prior to this?
Looks at you.
But I feel like the answer here is going to disappoint you, but Circus Folk? You know the type?
I was a toy.
I, the scientist, alchemist, I studied, I researched, I learned, I read of interactions of magic, chemistry, energy, and alchemy. And I read of history, that of my people's and of yours. Why do you fight us?
Lesser people would say destiny, but vengeance is a good one.
Don't forget, their actions can hurt lots of innocent people.
That too, yes.
Vengeance for your friend with scales as ours.
Well, not skills as yours, but skills, yes.
That is part of it, but messing with these towers that has brought me to you.
What do you know of these towers, of the history of these orbs, of the crimes, not just of your people, but committed by your fairy god?
Not my god.
Not my god.
Then I ask again, why do you fight us?
We are here to preserve the life that you are trying to snuff out by messing with these towers.
When she looks
Is
down
that-
at her claws, running the blade on her thumb across her fingers, one after the other. At this distance, the clicks near soundless.
You fight blindly, without cause, without purpose. You wage war against an enemy who you know nothing of. I have learned your tongue, your worship, your history. What do you know of us?
I know that you mess with what you should not be messing with, and that my blind faith has brought me to you to deliver the Stormlord's justice. And if you continue to interfere with these stones, I don't know if I can protect you.
Protect me. these lands to your lands to the surface. I came here commanded by Gorn, the ever-hungry, our prophet, with but a single command: consume, snuff the ill-deserved light pilfered from our sanctums.
So, murder and destruction then.
That is your choice, not ours. We have taken no life from those on the surface that have not sought to interfere with our divine quest. But I am not the zealot Gorn is. I am not driven blindly by prophecy, like you, or like school. I follow reason. It is easier for all of us to avoid conflict where unnecessary, though Gorn, and perhaps if Gavazeb himself would spit upon that as a lack of fervor and faith. You fight blindly. Perhaps show truth, you would see your errors.
They sacrifice people down in that temple underneath that city.
I do believe that they did.
They said they haven't killed anyone who was innocent who didn't attempt to stop them.
I spoke only of my own efforts, my own purposes. I know not what my brethren have done. But know this, the way of Zevkavazeb and of our people is consumption, assimilation of those weaker than us as we march, and a great darkness is coming, greater than what you've yet seen. What you experienced in the northern island, in your cities across the waves, those were on the orders of school, sent to break and conquer those lands. He sought sacrifice. He sought consumption. He sought offerings of power, subjugation, and domination. So, too, did my allies, sent by Gorn to command this tower, before I slew them to take it for myself.
Were you the creator of that thingamajig up there?
Those machines are my masterpieces. They were my first works, my first efforts to divert the light of the orbs. I have all but abandoned them now. Prototypes, weak, diffusing their energy needlessly, incapable of containing it.
So if you have strayed from your path of your allies and chosen your own destiny, what exactly is that?
I still follow Gorn's mission. Reclaim the light lost from Vask. I have come to meet you here, as I saw the light return to this tower. I knew it was you who had interfered as you had to the north. I have come, perhaps in vain, to appeal to the human senses. Mankind and your dead god claims to hold above all else. Sense of morality, righteousness and valor. Justice, perhaps you would call it.
And
We are at a bit of an impasse here, as although we hold no personal attachment to the orbs, they are what sustains life around here, as they once did for you. We will not let them go.
I have for you an offering. This is the last I'll make it. Perhaps I am a fool to scorn prophecy. We are destined to meet in battle over our beliefs. But perhaps.
And she reaches down towards a bottle she has dangling from her belt, which she grabs with one claw, with one hand, and with one claw from her other hand, unhooks a metal flask, larger than the one you'd found back behind the statue, but not shaped like a hip flask. Cylindrical, thick, and dark, stopped with a glass and metal twist. She reaches up to slowly unscrew the top as she takes another step towards you.
I would
I
raise
take
my
a cautious
shield.
stance.
As she gets the cap off of it, casts it down, clattering to the stone.
If I came here to slay you, my means would be far more direct. I offered parley. I'll bring you no harm here. This is no deception. That is not the domain of Solgath nor Zevgavazub. Treachery remains the domain of mankind. Your folk, not mine.
And that is why I have not sicked the mightiest on you yet.
She places the bottle carefully down the ground as she crouches, bending her knees to lower her body towards the floor.
I offer you this potion. Insight. Wisdom. Its alchemy is activated with a catalyst.
And pulls one of the gauntlets as she undoes the clasp off of one hand and slings it across a pouch on her hip, before taking a claw, putting it to her own palm, and with what seems to be some force as her arms tremble, pushing until with an audible crack, her claw punctures through the center of her palm. And she pulls it back up, clenching her fist and holding it above the vial as blood runs down and drips from the heel of her hand into the flask. And the flask itself trembles a bit, clattering on the floor. As you can hear a hissing and a clear, barely perceptible puff of steam releases out from the flask. And then she grabs a second, smaller vial, removes the cork, puts but a drop of that into the flask as well.
It is activated with my blood. It bears not just the impressions of my own mind, but of my ancestors, their ancestors. Centuries of knowledge distilled into a flask. And the miracle of alchemy. There is enough in there for but one solid dose. Though the visions it will give you can be shared. Contact. joined hands, or touch to his shoulder, or as many as wish to see. I cannot, nor will I force you to drink this potion. I only leave this offering as my sole gift of peace. Take it. Consider why you stand against us.
She steps back, leaving the flask there, the cap still cast aside in the rubble along the corner. And she touches with the gauntleted hand the bridge of her fingers below the second knuckle, grasping them and folding her hands across her chest.
But if you make me intervene in our affairs again, you will bear the full force of my alchemy and my claws. You will not survive such an encounter.
She raises one leg and steps backwards down as if to a stair, and her foot sinks down into the stone. She folds her hands and almost falls backwards with a subtle rumble into the mudstone of the tower itself and out away from view. As she disappears, the surface of the stone itself resumes its original appearance, with no indication that anything had ever been amiss.
Ara's going to approach that potion on the ground.
Well, what would I
We
know?
called parlay. We can't just kill her right there.
Well, now she's gone, right?
She's gone.
She's
I don't
gone,
think
yeah.
we could kill her if
She
wanted
dissolved
to.
into the floor and disappeared.
Yeah.
Ara's already
Cool
picked up
trick.
that potion. Just- Well,
Would I know of anything that's like a weird morphed version of a Trog? If I were to.
I mean, you had
wonder
plenty
about
of time to study her. So if you want to make me a private GM roll society check,
it. Okie dokie.
it is fully a humanoid, so it is society.
Okay. And then I guess does that count for dubious knowledge or no?
Give you dubious
Good time.
knowledge. Looking at her, it's clear that if she's deceiving you, it doesn't seem to be about her own understanding or her studies or her science. If she truly was the one that constructed the machinery up above, I mean, based on just her kit that she bore, there's no reason not to believe it. But it almost looked as though through either you can't be sure if it's some alchemy, magic, or something else entirely. She appeared to literally be made of stone. Her scales, sheets of dark slate, and even her very vocal cords unable to resonate as they should from her mouth. Something looks like it has dramatically altered her physiology. And dubious knowledge notwithstanding, you have no idea how far that extends or what that could really mean. You did notice that although she did not get terribly close to her, or close to you, you did not smell her as you do most Trogs. And it seems pretty clear that whatever transformations she has undergone, she no longer possesses that or probably many other facets of Trog biology.
Ara holding the potion.
Do
Well,
not drink that. Hold on a second. Selwyn, is this another friend of yours?
No, I have never met that person before in my life.
Wouldn't put it past you, given your company
Yeah, your
lately.
choice in friendships.
I'm very surprised about your reaction, sir. You've seen that woman exactly once. Briefly. Just a flicker of a second.
Selwyn, you know she said she brought up Lizard.
Right?
Selwyn.
And perhaps not unfairly.
Are you
I'm
defending her? Is that what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Selwyn,
What did you say that's wrong?
I don't understand what's...
If you want to be friends with people who kill friends, this is up to you, but I'm going back to the circus.
Well, hold up a second. Who's killed whose friend?
You know what I'm talking about.
No, I honestly have no clue.
Well, then this is shame for you.
She tried to kill us all, Selwyn.
She did, and she also helped us out. She saved us, in some respect. Do you think we could have survived the top of that tower if she had been fighting against us as well?
Of course the Storm Lord was with us. We could have accomplished
And was
anything.
the Storm Lord with us when you all went down and I was the last one standing?
He had never left my side.
I didn't, but I had to make a choice. I had to take a deal that none of us might like.
You sided with the demon?
I took an offering. One that would see us through. One that would keep all our friends alive. Which, sadly, to much of my dismay, did not work out.
At the cost of your soul.
If it meant saving my friends...
And my friend.
What did Tilby do that hurt Lizard at any point outside the obvious?
I'm leaving.
Didn't they work for her?
The Trox did not work for her, no.
Is that to make it better?
It's not about her, it's about me. I made that choice knowing what the reaction could be. And I would give up anything and more if it meant the safety of my family.
I would do the same thing for you, Selwyn, but you have sold your soul.
I don't really believe in that stuff anyway.
people have done a whole lot worse, Arbus, for a whole lot less.
No, it's not the...
I mean, look what these Troglodyte Zolgaths are doing.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
I'm not saying to trust her. I don't. She doesn't trust me either. But she has helped us out. She has directed me to the towers. She helped find Moonstone Hall in the first place. She offered to help raise Lizard back from the grave, but I did not want to take that bargain, fearing what might lie ahead.
You can't sense her evil. It's
Nope.
so thick I could cut it with Carl.
No, I know that she is, by all morality, evil. And by extension, I'm pretty sure I am too.
I will not let her take you, Selwyn.
Well, it's fine and dandy. And I would like to pull up my hood. The non-detection,
Okay.
and tell her I'm not planning for this to be a permanent arrangement either. But doubt she does as well. Been doing my best to read up on Sakubai, the workings, although I suspect that she's somewhat different now, given her changes over the recent weeks. But nevertheless, should it come down to it, and the choice between you and her, obviously it's always going to be you. I'll pull the hood back on.
I'm drinking this.
Oh, okay.
Wait, no, don't.
Like, ours already doesn't have a mouth. His finger has grown out into a root, and he's starting to stick it down into the bottle to absorb it.
Up.
I'm curious. Just
We'll wait.
She said everybody can see together.
well,
Should also be a very convenient way to kill all 4 of us at one time.
Certainly true. I do have a question though, Gray, if you don't mind.
Whatever.
You saw me converse with her quite jovially when you ascended the tower in the first place. I assumed you know what was going on and just quietly accepted it. Surprised you didn't question it sooner. Or at least even ask about it. You never did. None of you did. Nary a word. Not even a peep.
Well, as I have explained to you a few different times, Selwyn, my dreams sometimes are in reality, and I don't actually remember all the things all the time. That scary woman sometimes talks to me during the day now, if you must know.
That ain't good. There's also a scary woman talking to me, if that makes you feel better.
No shit, Selwyn, like we just saw.
I'll give him a
Well,
right
I
point.
would like to see. I'm not sure how this would work, or if it even will work at all, but I would like to speak with the Valitu instead of the Valatu, if she is around.
What are you talking about?
And Merkville will lean forward. I don't know. And he'll just kind of keep staring into your eyes.
And I'll, step over.
If you look real close, there's a flicker of green through the gray.
I am on the right track.
are slowly inching down.
If I go slowly enough, they won't notice.
I notice.
Well, alright, if you really feel this is the time, I guess we should line up.
No, we should have it with Cirque as well.
Where's the where?
He left.
Sark is nowhere in sight.
Mr. Batsky left?
Yeah, she went outside. He needed some fresh air.
At least she left the stopper.
We should wait. He would maybe want to see too?
Exactly.
Well, maybe or maybe not. Either way.
I don't think any of you should drink this. In case it is poison, I should drink. I was trained since birth to drink stuff.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yep, not
Yes,
letting that
I
happen.
agree with that too.
No, it's not up for discussion,
I just
Selwyn. I was bred
up
for
this-
this.
Pick up the
doesn't matter.
stopper, pop it on. Well, I have the bottle, so you're not getting it from me. It's mine.
As
Well,
you,
we share it
as,
with
you
all of us.
as you make your way to the ledge here, you can see Zerg already halfway down the 150-foot stairwell descent back down to the
Zerg,
turrets
Zerg.
below.
You should hop down after him and do a flip, right?
Yeah, actually, I hop down. I just hop down in front of him.
as he's falling past him, Sir.
That's fair. You literally jump off the edge and just kind of flutter down, and Zerg, you just see Aura. Zerg! Zerg! just sort of flutter past you out in front of
Lands,
the stairs. as
lands
you
both
come
arms
down.
above him. Zerg! Oh,
Huh.
beat him down, didn't I? Oops. I'm drinking this. Just hold up the potion. I want you to put your hand on my shoulder just in case something crazy happens and I start going berserk. You're the only one who can stop me.
Zerg's hand is the size of Ara, so it's sort of
Body
wraps
slam!
around both shoulders. Okay, drink it.
Now we wait for everyone else to come touch you two. It's just in case. Extra precaution. And as soon as everyone else gets down, whoever's ever touching me, Artist sticks his finger in and starts absorbing the liquid.
So you're doing this like halfway down the stairs?
Sure, why
Well,
I'm
we're
not?
gonna start tripping balls on the stairs. You guys crazy.
We're gonna get down to a safer place.
Valhalla.
I figured we're at the bottom. I figured I made it to the bottom. I was waiting for him.
You you all make your way down to that platform at the base of the stairs, with the dead trogs still strewn all across it, where you had first battled on your way up. And you all gather together in a nice little line.
One
Nice
happy little
group.
family.
One
And immediately die.
Give it to me. I will
Happy-
drink it, Aura.
Nope.
little family. Flop, he says. Well, as you plop, all of you together would feel a strange sensation, almost of floating. Like almost if your feet were no longer on the ground anymore. You could call it an out-of-body experience, perhaps. But your vision of the area around you, of the flat, dead expanse and very Wellspring Tower itself, would sort of blur and swirl and change into something else. Where previously you had seen out before you a bunch of dirt, dry, devoid of life, nutrients, and even water, you now see stone. Black stone streets rolling out, leading to a major intersection, a crossroads of some kind. As you look around, you find yourselves in the middle of a city. The roads, the buildings, near everything carved of a dark stone. In lieu of grass around some of the buildings, even up the sides, various mosses and lichens would grow. They're bright, they're colorful, in their own way. They even look like they have their own little groups of budding, growing flowers. It's a scene very different than one you're used to, and at first off-putting, but there's a strange sort of beauty and order to it. The bright daylight shines not from overhead, not from on high, but seemingly all around from near every direction, illuminating the city, which appears to lay in the belly of a massive cavern. Enormous, miles across. The ceiling dangling with stalactites and what look like massive roots both, far overhead. And walking through the streets, standing behind stalls, discussing, going about their daily lives, are Zolgath. Dozens of Zolgath. Their society is markedly different than anything you're used to, as they are a very different people that worship a very different god. But at its heart, you can still see the order. Your vision moves through the streets from intersection to intersection, seeing trogs around making deals, greeting each other, seeing tiny little troglets playing dice games in the alleyways between some houses. Civilization. You see their sport in a massive arena, a brutal, vicious, bloody affair, to be sure. Some kind of a game involving several balls and hoops at far ends of a field, mounted up on walls, where it seems near nothing is off limits. But as goals are scored, the energy through the crowd, the cheers, the excitement, it's infectious. It's a very different life, but it's a good life. You see trogs learning. Tiny troglets gathered around in an open stone hut with clay tablets, learning to write, learning to read, and time seeming to pass at an accelerated rate learning maths and sciences, and some going their own way. Some heading out into the Darklands to become hunters. Some architects, building more great wonders of this enormous city beneath the world. All illuminated by not one, but 6 suns. 6 white orbs. Each atop a tower, far away from the city's walls itself, washing the cavern with its life-giving light. But then, one goes out. Then a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. As the power of the Aeon orbs fades from this magnificent city, this Zolgath capital, this metropolis beneath the stone, so too goes the life. The colors recede, and the small budding flowers growing in the moss. Harvests and crops grown from the very stone they live within wilt and fail. Even the very quarry they hunt for their meat forsakes the region. Zolgats diminish. The troglodytes all but disappear, as keeping children alive in such harsh conditions becomes all but impossible. No food, light, no hope. And the dim reflection of a single orb left in the cavern. You see a golden hand stretching out over the city. Another alongside it, clasping the other 5 orbs, dark, in its palm. You hear a booming voice in common. I am a just and merciful God. I will leave you one of these orbs to power your civilization, to siege your life, and take the rest to the surface for better use, for worthier people. And so he did, as Erodin retracted 5 of the 6 orbs, leaving the dead city of Vask behind him. Zolgath civilization all but destroyed in the waning Aeon light.
Lyron's
As
kind of
even
a racist asshole, huh?
As even that fades. A blink and you find yourselves standing once again where you were. Here outside the Wellspring Tower.
Well, I had suspected as much from Moonstone Hall.
Yeah, he doesn't really make a good impression of himself, does he?
But it is our life or theirs, and
Well, yeah, I'm not really into the whole eye for an eye thing, except when we're the ones doing it, because we're the good people. Yeah, and they should just learn to live, I guess. Oh, no, it's kind of fucked up. It is too late to really change that past, but they are doing extremely fucked up shit now. I think that's what we should focus on. We're not Aradin. We're not responsible for his mistakes.
So I want to go home.
Homewhere.
Little circus.
For how long?
I just want to go home. I'm tired.
Same, honestly. Anyone else feeling like a good trip home?
yeah, that does seem to be the best.
All right,
Oh.
let's start making the trek.
This time we use the roads.
What? We already have a perfectly cut path. It's basically
Yeah.
a road now.
But think about it this way: if we use the roads, we can advertise ourselves to anyone we pass by. We've already
that's actually a
advertised
great
ourselves
idea.
the way through. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning from you, Selwyn.
You're so smart, Aura.
Don't say that. I'm not.
What a
Well,
big
that was a-
brain he has.
That was a stroke of brilliance.
Thank you. All right,
So-
so chartering it off.
The group of you make your way down the ladder, back to the dead earth around, and back out towards the roads to head back. And again, it's still early in the afternoon, if even that. You could certainly make it back to your circus grounds by nightfall. Each of you, though it has been, I think, like 3 weeks for us, it has been like an hour and a half for you. Very aware of the landmines that had gone off when you tried to walk in here in the first place. And so, I am sure, very observant on your way out to make sure that you do not befall a similar fate again. Those
Darkbeard should lead us out.
Alrighty then.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, you go first. Just smart.
Yeah.
I want him to skid across the desert like a skipping stone. One
Barkbeard?
mine into the next.
Why don't you make me just give me a flat roll. Just flat me.
A flat roll. 16.
So as you are making your way forward and watching as closely as you can, the party following in kind of a straight line behind you, but at a decent distance, I am sure, not wanting to hit another one of these bombs. How confident are you in your abilities?
Very confident. Barkbeard, as I saw them on the way in, and, who is it I say? Arbus does not. I feel like I can protect very well.
Well,
I have my
I'm probably
shoulders.
strutting.
You're-
Strutting.
you definitely can. And as you're looking, one of your little rooty feet catches through a tripwire, detonating a grenade buried just beneath the dirt. Make me a reflex save.
Can you please roll to see if you
It's the day that never ends.
If you're looking, you only have a 25% chance to hit a bomb. It's a DC 16 flat check.
I knew it had to be something filthy like that.
24.
A 24. You are going to fail.
Oh my god.
And in this blast, as it explodes in your face, you are going to take 37 points of fire damage and immediately catch fire.
Can I please have another flat check rolled if it gets blown into the second one? Please.
Oh, come on.
It will be so funny.
I'll leave that up to Barkbeard. Do you freak out and stumble around in a blast of fire, or do you just kind of stand there like Wile E. Coyote?
Get across the ground, Bryn. Hit another.
It's good.
Well, it's a very. I've got a wide root base, so it blasts me up. You know.
So you're super on fire. And why don't you roll me a flat check real quick? Are any of you hurrying to assist him as he explodes, or are you staying at a
No,
safe distance from this?
It's not safe. Now, watch out! I have found a landmine. On fire. Stay back. Don't worry. I have this under control. There might be more, though. This one
Make
is
sure you
nice.
trigger them all.
Right. That's the plan.
Cast the first level heal on him.
You have to go up and touch him to do that. Oh, you first level, not one action.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can you roll me a personal
Have you ever
heal?
seen Aura do medicine? You crazy?
Is there any water around, or is this all dried up?
No,
It's
this is
dried up,
all
right?
dry and dead. Roll me a first level heal real quick there. Stick boy.
I have to navigate. There we go. I heal you for
16 health to the Barkbeard. So what are you doing, Barkbeard? Is Aura quickly gives you a little wave of healing magic and you...
So because the
something.
part that exploded was mostly my roots, because I was kind of going along, so I'm going to kind of root down as I would normally get into stands, and start burying the roots that are on fire to try and stop the fire.
Alright, and then roll me a plant check.
Okay. 5.
You would take 8 more points of fire damage as the fire kind of crawls up you. You are very on fire.
Very, very
And-
on fire. Yes.
Make me another flat check just to see if that ends natively. It is not still on fire. This is how Barkbeard dies, very slowly over there by himself.
Should I just
Team?
keep rolling?
Yeah, then you would
Count
be
him,
able to...
Barkbeard.
Nestling a little deeper, you would be able to quench the worst of it, leaving just a couple of errant flickers on bits of moss across your body, taking no further damage than that.
In the Barkbeard. Sad and hilarious.
Well,
So-
I suppose we'll keep going.
Are
Sure thing,
you
Barkbeard.
okay?
Yes, not to worry, not to worry. Totally
healed him.
fine. Totally unplanned. Yes, yes,
He's
quite.
Still a little tar marks.
It's not a problem.
It's a little burnt.
He's
He looks
fine.
a little singed. But the group of you, what's the highest intelligence in the party?
Oh,
Probably Barkbeard.
yeah, Barkbeard
Yeah, it's
actually.
probably mine.
14.
Barkbeard, you know, surely nobody has lore warfare. I'm gonna assume nobody has lore warfare.
No.
What you got, buddy? Why don't you give me a society there, Barkbeard?
Okay. 17.
Well, that was pretty burny, but what do you do?
Keep walking.
You keep walking. What do the rest of you? Keep following?
From a safe distance.
You're from a safe
following.
distance the entire time.
Quietly
you,
following.
You make your way out from this dead area, past the ring of landmines, and back out into the tree line towards the road. To make your way back to the circus campgrounds. You still got a couple of miles and the better part of an hour's journey marching along the roads. But as you all travel, what are you doing? Silently walking, musing.
I would be a lot quieter than usual, not skipping or really looking around and taking things in, just sort of like locked inside, pondering.
Fair.
And if you're
would
asking
just
for an
be-
action, I don't have one.
No, I was just wondering, like, literally, what are you guys doing? I mean, you
Yeah.
could also, I mean, I guess it's exploration mode, so if you want to give me an exploration mode action, you can.
That probably wouldn't be.
Just kind of silent, withdrawn march.
Ara's holding on to a scrap of Arbus's clothes, and he's just kind of staring off at the sun while they're walking down her guide him. Pretty much.
Alrighty. How about you, Sullen?
I'm just walking along.
Kind of going. Barkbeard?
Hey, now that we're on the road, I'll just walk along, musing over stuff in general.
Selwyn, you mean?
Well, mostly you and my success.
Great success.
Selwyn again Mom would call.
So when you've got to calm down and move further away.
Sorry? Did I do something?
Odd. Almost as if he can tell. Like, contact you. That doesn't. What a strange little plant. Anyway, I hope we didn't.
Demonic plant, I'm sure.
Quite possibly. I'd be surprised how much of that goes around in these regions. And let me tell you, from my end here, it is a surprising amount of demons. Though, at this point, the Swadland's largely clear. Frogs had brought more with them, but I imagine that stone woman of theirs wasn't so much a fan. She seems more the science and alchemy type than the magic and demon summoning.
Yeah, the science mumbo jumbo, right? Yeah.
Now, why did I have to end up meeting school on that stupid island and not that woman? Now, that is an interesting creature.
Well, we don't always get lucky.
Oh, well, I suppose we don't. Well, at least that's one tower cleansed, right, love?
Yeah, we did not blow up. I consider that a win.
Also, certainly a good thing.
How's your
I hope
face?
I haven't driven too much of a wedge amongst your friends there. They really dislike me. I mean, on some level, of course, I can understand. I did nearly kill most of them. But I didn't kill them. I stopped. None
Yeah.
of them would make it 10 minutes in the abyss if they can't handle a little friendly almost murder.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
very
you know.
serious.
No, I'm not. I don't doubt it. It's just hard feelings go around on the mortal plane.
Mortals hang on to these emotions so desperately, and for so long, it's a miracle you get anything done. I don't know how you have time in the day around recounting the book of grudges against everyone who's ever slighted you.
Oh, that's gone in the book. Sorry.
Thought you'd like that one.
Love that one. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know. But those of short lifespans typically hold on to the grudges harder.
It's... Well, I mean, obviously most of what I do is largely preying on latent emotions that people can't seem to let go of, so I suppose I should be thankful, otherwise my job would be much harder, especially when it comes to working on the material plane. But, well, in recent weeks,
Harder.
it seems I've gotten to do, more
Sorry,
than
go
you
on.
would know. And trust me, and I will leave you with this curse, Selwyn, and you will bear it for that terrible pun. I desperately wish that I had made friends with this stone science Solgath, because at least she's a female Trog.
Oh no!
Muse on that one, love.
No. And I'm doing this audibly. I suppose
But-
I deserved that.
Someone just lets out of nowhere. No!
Well, that seems normal.
Just regular gnome stuff, you know. Usual.
No, you know.
Ugh.
I think every
Are you-
time he makes a pun, we should just take away a hero point.
No, my hero points. I'll have no one left.
No, because chat will give him
Waste
2
of
for everyone
messages.
that I penalize him.
I
This is-
second this motion.
That's
This
the
is not a
point.
fight that I'll win.
That way we get more puns.
Anyway, as the group of you continue along the road, making your way back through the sward, And along, let's bring us back to the beautiful map.
Ah, yes.
Along this walkable path down towards this crossroads a bit northeast of the Cleave before heading the remainder of the way back down to Madden Cleave proper. It's a relatively short and fairly enjoyable journey of about 7-8 miles. If you're just walking leisurely, which I imagine you probably are given the various states of your asses kicked you've had in the last hour or two, it's probably going to take you maybe hour or two just to casually walk most of the way back. You get to the crossroads with no real issues. Turn and head back down towards the Cleave before something strange would happen.
Yes, I love strange things.
Only natural.
Stranger
You
things.
would hear a howling. Less of a howling and more of a frightened yelping. Almost like a large dog, or several dogs, being attacked, or if they're anything like my rats, very slightly bullied. And you are coming towards a rise in the road. As near the coast, much of the area is gentle, rolling hills. As the group of you reach the rise, you would see a very interesting sight. About 90 feet away down this hill. First of all, you would see a traveling group of small, furry humanoids gathered around or on top of a tipped-over handcart with a variety of turnips and cabbages scattered across the ground where the cart has knocked them throughout the grass. Two of these strange little dogmen are actually clinging to the side of the cart and just yelping frantically. A couple more are in a panic, scrambling around the wagon itself. Just what appears to almost be at random. It would be perhaps a comical sight. They bring us to the map here. It would be perhaps a comical sight. A group of about 5 of these weird little dog folk running around in a panic. Were it not for what was happening around them. The earth itself, the dirt and the grass, seems to be rolling, as if small hills were actually moving. 3 of them, swirling around the center of the mound, near the leading edge as it moves, punctuated by what looks like an oversized giant shark fin. These hills
No, land shark.
appear to be
Oh, shit.
circling around, getting ever closer to these imperiled dog folk and the overturned cart as a trio of land sharks hone in on their prey.
Oh
It
my
didn't
god,
get
they're
less
fucking huge.
It didn't get less comical.
They
Okay,
are
whose idea was it to take the roads?
Whose
Shame on
dumb
them.
idea was this?
they are pretty big lads. And let me go ahead and I already have everybody flagged for combat.
Oh.
you
Ah,
guys
yes.
Shit.
I
guys
am
should-
ready.
be able to roll them.
Booyah. Oh, fuck.
Bing bang boom.
First roll of the day. It's the hard one. It is.
You guys think you can just walk home without fighting something?
Yeah.
Gotta
It
have
is the
the
dream.
random
It is.
encounters. I love it.
It's the
I
dream.
would.
Barkbeard.
I would like to shout this one. Hey!
You are like
stopped it.
90 feet away from them.
It does say on Battle Cry that it's just an absurd foe.
But it's a demoralize, right? Which just has a 30-foot range.
I suppose.
Barkbeard.
Damn it, he
Well.
caught me.
Got me there.
Well, that looks alarming. There seems to be a lot of rock people out today, and I'm going to reroute myself down. Well, I may actually move first.
There
I'm
are
going
90
as
feet
I'm
to go.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I'm gonna zoom this very out so you get a general view.
Yeah, I
of
know. That's what I'm doing. Okay,
the
so
scale of this encounter here.
Smells like sharks.
I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, 30.
Oh boy.
So, thing that I learned, you can grab, I think Colby told me this, you can grab L measuring tool. Someone told me this, and you can measure out from you and hit space, and you will move to the end of your measurement.
That's super
You were there.
cool.
I want to take credit for that, but it wasn't me.
It was Edawir in the Discord then, because those are the two people who tell me things. Edawir tells me how to do everything in Foundry. You can thank him for the pop-out character sheets module as well.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
But yeah, if you
thank him.
start the measurement on you, space will move you to the end of it without having to like let go of it.
Okay. So and then as I get here, that's 2 moves. As I'm running, my roots kind of dig deeper and like a trail kind of into the dirt, kind of get myself into stance.
Okay. Now, each of these, literal land sharks here, they are largely underground. These tiny, small for a hill, hillocks revolving and still moving towards the cart and the imperiled dog folk. But all you can really see of them is this ridge and the shark fin sticking up. You can't actually see the whole creature at the moment.
Okay. And I do not have an extra action. I do not have an extra action to like. Get...
Zerg!
Yes. Fucking shit. This will be fun and cool. Was it 30 feet per move?
It's whatever your speed is, which is probably 25 unless you have a speed boost.
It is 25. Okay. Hey, the spacebar thing does work. That's pretty sweet.
That's fancy.
25. Oh,
Please
just
get
out of range
50.
for a sudden charge.
So close and yet so far.
By 2 fucking squares. Yeah, I'll just move up to here.
The Zerg and Barkbeard take off, running down the road. The first of the land sharks here. You will see the fin spiral in, surging towards the cart, as the second circles around behind him, and you see the hills start to rise up. Dirt surging from the ground as claws and massive toothed maws emerge from the earth, starting to lunge towards the cart. Ara.
I can't see them, so I'm just gonna move. I'm just gonna move.
You can't see them?
They're underground, right?
You can clearly see, where they are. You can see parts
Yeah.
of them sticking up.
I figured that'd be hard to hit with a fireball, so
Yes.
I have nothing in range. I'm just gonna move up. Right there,
That's the
reaction
problem with the
move.
fireball? Not the dog
What?
people in the middle? The problem is that they're in the ground?
Well,
Well, we
I
can
could
heal them
I,
after they die.
I could hit. I don't have to hit all 3 of them. Just I have to hit 2 of them with a fireball. And there's 2 that only my
This
friends
is
are.
peak fireball user logic. Alright, Ara. Then Arbus.
You're muted.
Thank you. I'm going to boom. Can I move to?
You do have to start the ruler on your character, not in front of your character.
Damn it. Okay, that's a double to get to there. And I'm pretty sure they're pretty deep here, these boys. Not like I have anything for it. Anyway, and boy, oh boy. Just triple move then, I guess. Triple move. I'm just sprinting towards the action.
That's what most is going on. The third of them swirls around, the noose tightening as the trio of giant land sharks rise up, ravenous for some good little snacks. Selwyn. Are you also muted? Selwyn?
Oh, it's me? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Sorry,
He died.
Selwyn just pump.
I'm spacing out of it. It's been a rough year.
Fucking me.
Yeah, nobody can disagree with that, really.
Yeah, it's gonna go fast.
Go fast.
Woof. Fuck, dude. They're so far away.
90 feet is a lot of feet. Is that a triple?
Well, that was 2.
One left.
It is true. There's 1 left. Move closer. How close do I really want to be to these guys? They seem scary.
They do seem pretty scary.
That
if
was
I'm
my
being
problem
honest.
too.
Alright. Well, I'll move up snuggly behind my good pal, buddy, Serg, and my, acquaintance, Barkbeard.
Co-worker. My co-worker, Barkbeard.
My co-worker.
Oh. Speaking of, Barkbeard, this is going to be your turn, good sir.
I am bolstered forward from everybody else being like, yeah, let's rush these giant rock sharks. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a
Yay.
great idea. So I'm going to move 35 feet up here
Okay.
and smack a hill. That's the plan.
So it is still largely underground. It is going to have cover. But there's definitely
yes.
enough there
I'm
that you
gonna
can...
smack. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna smack at a hill with my great ideas here. So a nice, just, to get things loosened up, a nice 25 to see how
25
it works.
is going to slap at some dirt that's rolling through, but your little roots get nothing but loose soil that's been turned up by this land shark.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and kind of test out. So that was me testing out where it is. I still don't quite know where the body of this or what the body looks like. So I'm going to try again to get a better feel of where exactly this thing is. Which, I'm just smacking the ground around here, trying to get a hold on things. And then I will see the one circling behind me and kind of brace against my shield, trying to block. Shielding.
Right, Zerg!
So I checked, and I'm even 1 movement of not within range, so I'm gonna have to sudden charge.
And sudden charge it up, my guy.
So Barkbeard's got a solid handle on that guy. I'm gonna sudden charge.
Yes.
This guy, yeah, Barkbeard's fine. I trust you.
Not worry. Solid handle.
You got it. You'll be
I
fine.
would call it, yes.
And I'll end that movement with hero point. Okay.
Ooh.
22 to hit.
22 as you run in, you are going to catch a lot of dirt as you kind of bury your fist into the earth here. You don't accomplish much else.
It's alright, I have a second fist, that's why I brought 2. Okay, 23.
You're also having a hard time reaching down here and, catching some land shark. But you have successfully gotten the attention of this strange creature here. As you're going to see the fin in the earth pivot, chucking a lot of the grass and dirt to the side before a maw rises up from the ground. And you can see, prefaced by a pair of hands that appear to have nothing but claws pointed straight forward, massive digging paddles, pushes up through the ground, planting each of its claws on the edge of this hill before pulling a maw big enough to fit probably the entire party into, wide open, into a gray, reptilian, almost dinosaur-like face. It is moving up to you. It is provoking an attack of opportunity as it comes up, because it's coming up out of the ground.
For
God.
fuck's sake.
I love
Damn
this
it.
encounter, dude.
Can I hero point the attack
You
of
can
opportunity?
absolutely, you can hero point
I'm gonna.
anything.
For fuck's sake.
No, that's bullshit right there.
Oh,
That's
that's
illegal.
actually that's fucking illegal. That's 100% illegal.
Man.
You punch
Well.
towards the shape moving towards you. Your fist just hitting dirt and then punching the tongue of the wide open mouth of this thing as its jaws snap towards you. For a 23.
Jaws snap down towards Zerg, but hit the ground in front of him. It's fucking scary, but it doesn't hit.
You punch the tongue and the thing chokes a bit. And like, puts its head back in the ground, surging back down, leaving just a fin pointing up again. The next of them, up at the top end, you see it crawl up, emerging entirely, up here next to a pair of these dog folk, reaching out, grabbing one with the clawed hand and moving it towards its mouth. Ara.
That's illegal. How far away is it from me? 75 feet. That's super duper illegal. I'm going to blast a fireball behind it. As soon as I see it start doing that.
You gotta bring it big, Yeetus. Alright,
Yeah,
let
me get my tool. Let me
me consult Sirenscape here because I need angry land shark noises.
You do. That's not the right tool. I want to draw pictures. I think right. There.
Land shark noises. Thank you, Sirenscape.
As I'm gonna blast a fireball. Yay! Sirenscape. Land shark noises. This place also got left. I got a fireball in here somewhere. Yeah, this level 4 fireball. For a nice solid 27 damage right there.
Okie dokie. We're gonna invoke the open field geometry rule. Zerg, you're gonna make a reflex save as well because you're right on the edge of this and you get 1 degree of success better.
24.
So that's a success, so you're gonna take
Okay.
half of that.
Half.
So you are going to take 18 points of fire damage, and our 2 land sharks are not going to get 1 degree of success better, and they are going to get a 19 and a 23. Believe it or not, the land sharks, mostly underground, even with their cover to that, is going to be a 21 and a 25, which are both going to fail. That's going to be land shark,
Bullet.
and they do not appear to be resistant to fire at all, and the earth only protects them so far as it does.
That's wonderful. Anara's gonna move up. Right there.
All right, Arbus.
And
Oh, was there an
Alright.
end? I thought that was it. Sorry.
Is there an end?
my turn never ends.
Oh,
That was it.
Okay.
then it ended. I'll move 20 feet. Damn it! Do it! I said do it! Okay, thank you. 20 feet
Technical
closer.
difficulties sometimes.
All the time. Why? Why does he have to?
Want me to get the tiny violin for you being 5 feet out of range?
Fuck up, man. I'm gonna put a hand on. Wait, can I even do that?
You can't touch or
No
look
touching?
or think about anything.
I'm trying to think. Guidance isn't 24 hours, right? It's an hour.
Guidance is once an hour, yes.
Okay, good. I'll put a hand on Selwyn's shoulder. The Storm Lord says, "Get them, Selwyn." Guidance for you.
All right, sir.
On my other hand, I'll put up my fucking shield in case these things come and try to eat me. I'm 5 feet out of range.
You go do it, someone.
A raise shield button. Oh, damn it. You did it.
I did it for you. I actually assumed. I kind of gave up. Well, you did the wolf macro so good. I didn't realize you had the shield one.
It's true. I
So
have that
this-
one in my bar too.
This land shark to the west, as Barkbeard slaps it feels the tremors on the ground. And he too is going to surge up out of the earth, maw striking out towards Barkbeard. Trying to get a good munch of our favorite shrubbery here. I'm gonna use the villain point. I'm gonna dump the Zurich bucket here. I just got TNTs now. Brings me on to Trace. I gotta lose my fancy plus sign. Do better. 37 to hit.
And that is just a regular hit. I still have my branches and roots kind of dug into where it is, so it gets a pretty solid hit in.
Alrighty, and that is going to bite down on you for 16 points of piercing damage as these teeth kind of rake through you. But it seems not like it's trying to put you in its mouth. It's not trying to swallow you whole here. It's more like it's trying to shred you, to tear at you. And it rakes its teeth across you and follows it up by taking one of these big old digging claws and swiping that down overhand towards you as well. For a 35.
And that also hits, but does not crit.
And that one's going to catch you for 18 points of slashing damage. I did that to the boulette. Whoopsies. Give that back to the boulette. Sorry, good sir. 18 points of slashing damage. And he does not sink back down. He is fully on the surface now. This one on the left is completely revealed. Zoan.
Was I? Well, I will use my impressive figure to move up the land shark underneath the shrubbery.
Here, I'll use these little shield icons here to denote out which ones are still largely in the cover of the ground.
And I'm safe here. I'll look out to him and say, "Hey, you stop that! Stop bullying the poor dogs!" And I mean, I'm really just doing that for me, but I'll give him a mean glare. And I'll use my guidance, so this will be one higher.
Alright, where is your boop? There we
Where's the
go.
modifier? Pick a type. What kind of type is this? Arabus circumstance?
Yeah, let me look.
I believe it is status. It is a status.
Worst case, sorry, can't make use of it.
Yeah, you actually get nothing for
You
guidance. I didn't know that.
I
Yeah,
get
it's status. You're right.
Well, all good. Session reroll. I'll not have this on my watch. Well, I guess I'll have this on my watch.
The good news is a 26 succeeds.
Yeah.
The land shark has no idea what you're saying, and you're very small, but somehow he's a little afraid.
Yeah. You know, that was my plan all along. Use my bad rolls on the initial bombardment, so I can easily give him a good old stabbing, a good old fashioned one.
Or you can just roll the number of the beast.
I've been fucking cursed, dude. I've rolled 6.
That was 666, my dude. 3
No,
D20s.
not today. Let's see if we can do it again. Hero point. Hell yeah, 34.
That's not a 6.
Flat-footed
34
and
is
frightened.
absolutely going to connect. Flat-footed, negating his cover, and he is frightened. Totally gonna hit him.
Alright, no crit, unfortunate. I'll also make him start bleeding, and he's also going to be enfeebled 1 as I cut across his scales.
I'm gonna find enfeebled without having to spend 10 minutes looking for it someday, but today's not that day. There we go.
It's an ABC order.
I know, but like, I go to doomed. I'm like, no. Then I jump to fascinated, and then I go back to, and like that's encumbered. I'm like, dang it! My mouse does not want to land on enfeebled. Alrighty, so that's you, right?
Yep, that's me. That's 1, 2, 3
So,
actions. I should. Oh, okay. You did it.
I got you. As you come in and lay into the first of these land sharks here, these dog people kind of contract ranks. The two that are being confronted by this first, and the one that was right outside the fireball, literally whimpering and scampering back to cower against the cart. And the one clinging to the top of the cart right next to Barkbeard, nearest to him, looks down, looks across the group and sees Selwyn, and he puts a hand up. It's the circus folk! Help my circus folk!
Oh god,
Barkbeard.
please no.
We're recruiting Scooby-Doo. Let's go.
I to, as this one has come out of, like climbed out of the ground here, I'm going to wrap my roots around one of its legs and try and get it to turtle a little bit. That's the general idea. Nothing like a good bit of turtling. With the session reroll, because that was pathetic. With a good bit of turtling. Well,
no.
No.
No, sir.
Not.
No, sorry.
So that is a 19. That is going to critically fail. So you try to
Okay,
grab
well,
him.
fortunately, I am not I can assurance that.
You can't after you roll it. Assurance is instead of rolling.
Oh, but it boosts a crit fail, doesn't it?
Oh, assurance,
Isn't it
the token thing, not the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, you can assurance that. So, I feel like we should flavor assurances and unstoppables. So as you try to grab him, he lifts this massive claw to knock you over. What do you do that keeps you standing? What's your cool hero moment?
Well, with his leg, I'm still attached to it. Because I'm trying to trip him, but it's with my vines, like it's with my roots. And so he flicks it back, and I flick up, and then he brings it back down, his leg back down to stomp, and it pulls me upright again. Since I am attached to it. Basically.
Fair enough.
Well, that was not what I wanted to be doing. I'm going to, don't really seem to, that was also an attack thing. Okay, I'm going to step, I'm going to ready, no, I'm going to, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Like it's in a calculation, it's flying through her mind.
Okay, I guess I will, I'm gonna sink behind my shield and then really sink behind my shield and take cover.
Okie dokie. So, Zerg.
Yes. Right hand punch.
Yeah.
28 to hit.
At 28, is he still largely underground? Is just gonna have enough force to get through and connect with a scaly hide, but not enough to do any damage. 28's gonna miss.
Left hand punch.
Yo.
25. Don't worry about it. Right hand
Beating
punch.
on it.
Oh.
29
There
with
it
a
is.
natural 20.
Natural 20 gonna bump that failure up to a success, so you're gonna catch him with the third one.
Thank fuck for that. 18 damage.
A regular hit, so it's gonna be 9 damage.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Because 29
And,
misses, but the
moment
natural
of
20
weakness.
makes it hit.
The
Nine
chink in
through
the
the-
armor.
9 through the
In comes Selwyn.
mess.
Oh, Selwyn.
37.
All right, math. He's in cover, but he's flat-footed, so that's neutral. 37 is not a crit.
Unlucky. However,
Damn.
he's gonna keep bleeding, and another 18 damage comes in.
A solid slash. And this thing, as you're landing him, even with just a couple of hits here, you seem to be tearing into it fairly well. You've been dealing with a lot of insane, like almost Lovecraftian horrors like the Roper. This just big animal. And he's got a pretty thick scaly hide, but if you're gonna get cutting it, you're cutting through him pretty well, and he already looks very torn up. His head is dramatically injured. And that brings us to him. And he is going to rise up out of the earth again, surging towards this tiny, scary gnome thing, away from the green guy that's just kind of beating on his hide. And as he comes up out of the ground, he is going to attempt to eat a gnome.
Wait, no, don't.
I don't know him about that.
Please no.
You know, I'm gonna use a villain point just for the pun.
No, I didn't even make one. Sorry, no, I didn't even make one.
That's 3.
37.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's a crit, I think. Maybe not. Maybe.
It's probably
Yep,
around the
yep,
edge.
That is a crit. Yep. I'm gonna need him.
So as
See
he
you later,
comes up
boys.
bleeding pretty badly, he gets a solid bite on Selwyn, whose teeth are about as long as her arm. ripping through her for 46
Yikes.
points of damage.
Oof.
I mean, you'd be glad he's enfeebled, because that does
Yeah, well.
take off his... That got double value. That made it 46 instead of 48, because it came off twice.
Lucky me.
Before swinging up a massive claw batting towards you as well. Almost in a sort of defensive panic, trying to beat you back, it seems, more than he is trying to actually do any damage. That's gonna come in for a 24.
Alright, panicked after that fucking jaw closed around me, having flashbacks to other bad things. I scramble backwards out of the reach.
And then give me your bleed damage.
Wow. 4 damage.
Nice.
4 damage, and he does not go back underground. He's staying up. This other
Cool.
land shark near the back has been hit by a fireball, and he's pretty upset about it. But Ara's pretty far away, and that's a problem. He is going to surge through the earth. That's the blasty thing. I am smart. Don't make fun of me. I know what I'm doing. Gonna surge through the earth to here, which is 1 move, out around his surfaced friend. And as he does, you're gonna see the claws emerge, plant themselves on the ground, and thrust. And he is going to launch himself like a torpedo out of the ground into the air, breaching like a dolphin, maw open, teeth sailing like a giant blender towards Ara.
It looks like a bullet.
He looks like a
Like a-
bullet, because that's the name of the thing.
Gee.
And he got at least a 20, so he can easily move that distance. He is set definitely out of the ground as he is in the freaking air at this point.
Graceful.
And as he comes in, you are quite small. His teeth soar soundly over your head, but his claws underneath rake through the dirt towards you. Swinging at you for a 39.
That crits.
And the other coming through. Wait 1 second. Foundry Y.
Because you're bullying me.
Foundry Y. Is Foundry
loves
finally
me.
giving you vengeance? There we go.
Yes.
That was weird. It just kind of hung for a moment. I don't know if that was me or the thing. The second one coming in for a 26.
That hits.
He's got a crit and a hit. First claw is going to catch you soundly for 40 points of slashing damage on that critical hit. And the second for 14 points of slashing damage as he lands like a frickin' seal on the shore in front of Ara. Neck writhing, mouth moving, trying to bite at you. And it is your turn, good sir.
Oh, it is my turn. Ara is going to let his character sheet load and then cast at the thingy that's in front of him.
Bold man
I'm
casting in melee range.
Yeah, bold man. I have
doesn't
him on
have
my
ammo,
list
you're
ever. Maybe if I can get it to work. Foundry is being Foundry for me.
It's still a little bit of weird stuff right now.
Yeah, I'm
Burning
casting
hands!
Burning hands.
I think
Yeah,
it's less Foundry and more
if
your internet is
Foundry-
dying.
It is definitely my internet is dying completely. There we go. Burning hands. Has a 3rd level spell on him.
So let me roll his reflex. He is going to get a 26.
He fails, and he takes 25 points of burning damage as I just aim it into his mouth.
He just gets
Please
the whole of the burning hands.
Spicy doll.
And then I'm actually going to bring that back around for an elemental toss on him as well. And I don't think burning hands has the attack.
It does not.
Does it?
If it doesn't make an attack roll, it usually doesn't. So if you're burning hands and elemental toss, full power.
For a 32 into him.
32 will hit him.
Yeah, as I just bring the fire back and just toss it back into his mouth.
Mouth's wide open. Yeah, he's just eating this. This is King Dodongo here. You're just throwing the bombs in his open mouth.
For another 23 fire damage.
Solid.
Arvis, help, please.
Arvis, help.
Please.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so let's see the combat ensuing. Aura calls out for help. There's a I lower my gaze towards the I don't know, the bullet. I guess we'll call these things. You know, the bullet.
Is it
That's,
boulet, sir?
It's a bullet. It's a bullet.
It's a bully.
It's a bully.
It is a bully.
The land shark.
bullying- Land sharks that's bullying Ara, and level my gaze towards him. And there's a light rumble in the sky, and as I stretch my hands outwards, a dark cloud starts to swirl around this thing, and then gadoosh, tempest surge.
All right. And as this bolt comes down, his scaly hide in the earth around him grounds him pretty well. He is pretty resistant to electricity.
Oh my.
Of course he is.
I'm kidding, it's not, but I knew you'd get really mad about that.
I still have beer in here! Damn it!
I'm sorry for your beer, comrade.
Damn it.
He is going to get a 30 on the reflex save, though. He just ate a bunch of fire, and he's in a kind of rolly, floppy kind of mood.
That succeeds, yeah.
This is going to take half. He's still going to take 15 points of electricity damage. A solid jolt.
And still got one action. I'm gonna I'm gonna move down
I see you
to
measuring distance backwards.
here.
I see you measuring distance backwards over there.
A little bit here and there. Okay.
Alrighty.
I'm too far away. I'm too close.
So this one up in front of
Always
Barkbeard,
complains.
as Barkbeard is absolutely sheltered underneath his shield here, is going to try once more to bite at him for a 32 to hit.
That exactly hits.
I actually thought that was going to miss with your shield up and cover.
Well, my shield, yeah, it's at 32. Wait, does that mean that still hits? If my
It
AC
equal
is 32,
hits,
it
yeah.
still hits. Yeah, that's what I thought.
But with your shield up, that was almost minimum roll of damage. With your shield up, you can ward off the worst of his scraping, flaying teeth here. And he's only going to bite you for 13, oops, I did half, 13 points of piercing damage. Before he bears down on you, following up with a claw for a 22.
And that is going to miss. I'm bearing down on me doesn't work very well because I'm already under my shield.
And it's just kind of pushing you down into the dirt here, soft as they've really tilled it by digging through it so effectively. He is going to surge a little ways back down into the ground, seeing all these explosions and this fire and magic happening. He's a little spooked. Just a big lizard. And Selwyn.
Desire. Well, now I'm in melee, and I'm having what can be described as a terrible time. I'd like to keep stabbing.
Please stop eating me, sir.
Yeah, don't eat me, sir. What? For a 32?
32 will catch him.
Yep. And damage. Wow. Just try to cut him down.
22, a
damage.
solid hit. And he is at this point on death's door, pretty lethally injured. He seems to be rethinking his decision to take this particular lunch.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can show him there's no such thing as a free lunch. Second hit. Hero point.
Oh, that's a hero point.
34.
34, gonna catch him
Finally.
again.
More damage. 20 damage.
And that is going to be enough to do it. That 20 coming through. Cutting down the first of these land sharks here as he is left bloodied and still bleeding, half beached. His lower half, his hind leg still buried beneath the earth as he flops over, as the jaw even offset as his head collapses to the ground.
Well, and since I killed him, I'm gonna use my reaction, look to this one up top, and say, "You're next." And again, it's really just for me. I understand these pigs don't know what I'm saying, so I'm just, giving
But
them
it makes you feel like a superhero of some kind.
Yeah, I feel awesome. 26.
26 will succeed. He is,
And
in
I'll-
fact, just kind of an animal.
And I'll look at down this one at the bottom and say, "You're also next."
Get in line!
32.
Ready to frighten him as well.
And that's me.
You're next. Barkbeard.
I'm going to, as it kind of turns tail back into the ground, I'm going to try and catch it before it goes with a couple hits. With a 34.
34, even as it burrows and puts a bunch of dirt between you and it, 34 will catch it, if only just. These guys have exactly one thing, and that's AC.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
That is
For
not
good old-
correct.
Well, because I'm 3 enfeebled.
Oh, you're
3.
enfeebled 3. Holy crap, you actually
Enfeebled
just
3.
do
So I can't
2d8
really
nothing.
Do anything, yeah.
You
I
don't
am
have,
mostly
like,
just
weapon
here.
specialization or anything adding onto your attack other than just strength? Ah.
There's no way you don't have weapon specialization.
Alright, sorry, I put it on you.
can
9
figure it out.
damage.
Okay. Well, I may or may not get a, go crazy. I did not go crazy. I get a solid smack. The dirt behind as he goes back under. And then I will once again go get my shield and then sink below it.
I should have weapons back.
I am sure you have more adding into your character than that, but we can look at it
She
later.
does.
Zerg.
Well, Zerg is gonna hightail it across this little bit of greenery here.
Or no.
Is that? Do I lose? 5
No,
feet
it's
for
not
all the
thick enough to
tree
really
and shit?
slow you. You can make your way through it. It's more like a tree. Like, it's above you, but
Okay,
it's there
and
for
just
flavor.
go around it.
So as you run up and,
I can hit it from here, right?
yeah, as you run
That's
up and
next to it.
Barkbeard's beating the ground, this dog man is on the cart. You run up right next to it. Oh, they're the strongest man alive. I saw him on the potions. Get him!
I will, little friend. I will. I like him. I want to keep him. 21 on the first punch. You know what? Fuck it. Hero point. I've got those.
Get in there.
24 on the first punch.
I mean, of all the days for you to have really sad dice, at least it's not, like, a really critically challenging combat. It's not the robots or anything. But that is gonna miss.
Yeah. All right. Well, second punch. Do something. Would you?
Oh
Fuck.
man.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I mean, I
Don't tell
am
me so.
because don't talk to me like I haven't experienced this sadness from the other side. I know the bad dice session and the sadness it brings.
Oh no, I don't get a third one.
You did move up.
Hero point then. I'll hero point for the fucking thing. It misses anyway, doesn't it?
It does miss anyway. You're fine. I'll give it to you. You come and swing at it a couple times, and you see one of the dogmen, seeing that this would kind of retreat underground. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea," and roots through the bottom of the wagon and pulls out a shovel. A little shovel with the handle only about 3 feet long. And he sticks the head of the shovel in the ground, and then down on all fours, like talks down to the head of the shovel. 4 feet down, big enough for me to hide in. And the shovel just starts digging. As he just sits there and watches it in terror.
Maybe not go into the ground. Ground is not a safe place.
Not smart, he is. The
a
southernmost of these creatures, these land sharks, is frightened now and upset about the tiny stick person in front of him that did the weird hurdy fire. And he is going to try to rip his fangs through you once more with a 26.
He hits!
Oh boy.
Landing 23 damage onto Ara. Not unconscious. Before the land shark turns around, burrowing back into the ground. And I have lost access to all tools on this side of Foundry. They're all just grayed out now, so I guess I'm just not going to use them. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. 5, 15, 20, 25, 30. As he tunnels away, you see the Helic retreating off into the distance. Ara.
Well, shoot. He's just running.
He is
Okay,
underground.
cool.
He appears to be digging
Running?
away.
Yeah, he's an animal.
is-
He's running.
He's outie. He's
scared.
very hurt. He doesn't want this anymore.
How far away is this one from me? You know what? I'm gonna reach spell a level 1 fear at that one to try to tap into that same primal fear.
Ooh, okie dokie.
So there's that. I popped it in. I think it's 27. DC 27 will save from the bullet.
Okie
Flame
dokie.
shark. I can't do
Roll this.
There it goes.
That, my friend. I am having some incredible issues with Foundry right now. It has decided that it no longer wishes to function.
Hey, it's roll 20 again.
Yeah, this
It
is,
might just be from the place you're hosting a server.
it might be. I'm pretty sure our internet is pooping. We've been having some pretty severe internet issues recently. Because while I'm still streaming, I cannot load any web pages anywhere on the internet nor connect anything. We've been having some very great issues. But I'll put up on stream for a second. I got this. That's what my board looks like right now. So that's neat. But I can't right-click reveal it because that option has been removed from me by the lack of access I have. That's a natural 1.
Oh!
Boy.
And
Oh, he's
14.
frightened. Oh, he actually does tap into that primal fear, and all around him he sees visions of fire burning, and his only instinct is to run like hell. Because he's frightened 3 and fleeing for 1 round.
Jesus.
Right in 3 and fleeing. All right, Arvis. I can still use the initiative tracker.
Run up. I can't see health bars, but I'm sure Ara is not looking pretty after some of them shots.
R is always pretty.
You can't see the health bars?
No. I can see mine. I can't see it. I can see enemies, but I can't see party members.
It's because this is on an old scene before I updated that. He is very injured.
Yeah, I
would you like?
figured as much.
How do you look, Ara?
Hara. Oh, you know that arm that he had the bearded man make for him? It's missing again. He has a lot of deep gouges, and actually the arm didn't pop off. The whole area where his arm was ripped off with it as he threw it up to protect himself. The full leg took off with it.
Oh, goodness gracious.
God.
Okay, so I come sprinting up, and I know I have battle medicine the whole party, but it's definitely been more than an hour. So I can hit somebody that's been immune.
It has been more than an hour, yes, just on the travel alone.
Yeah, at least. So I know he's in a lot of trouble right now, so I'm digging deep. And I'm going to attempt to battle medicine Aura at the master level. For I don't know if I used my session. I don't remember. I did. I'm going to use a hero point. Shit. Making me use a hero
29
point.
is not 30, it turns out.
No, it's not, unfortunately. That's a little bit better, though.
34 is. There you go.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
You know why this is happening is because you calculated the healer's gloves into it already.
Yeah, you're destined to
That's
get one
exactly
offs.
it.
So if you have the healer's gloves in, you don't get that bump.
I know.
I mean, shut up.
already
You don't
have
know
them
you
in.
have. You don't know you have healer's gloves. Shut up.
I
Nobody
don't
knows
know I
that.
have them. It's just it's in there though.
You still think you have animal calming gloves?
Yeah, right. Well, enjoy your 51 HP at the cost of a hero point that I had to spend on you.
Worth it.
And as you are tending to him, I know you probably still have an action or so left. This other boulette, fleeing, is going to turn and surge down the road before shunting off to the left, breaking and throwing off some of the fence at the end of a farm as it takes off, burrowing through the ground as fast as it can. It would provoke from Zerg if he wants to take one final fuck you punch at it as it's leaving.
Fuck you, punch.
But it is going to use all of its actions to retreat 90 feet away.
Retreat, is it?
Well, you can do
Running
one of
away,
the
is
two
it?
things. You can take the swing, or you can follow
Oh.
after it. Because you get one a reaction's a resource, just like an action.
Yeah.
So you have
I
a
already
reaction.
I already took the swing, so that's fine.
So as this thing retreats, going under a fence, offsetting a couple of trees in the tree line as it burrows through, taking its retreat off into the distance, back inland, trying as hard as it can to get away from the group of you. Because this has not gone well for our poor land shark friend, and he doesn't want to be here anymore. Unless anyone is going to take off chasing after this thing. Which I suppose I would not put past any of you. To be
I'm not
fair.
a murder hobo.
I'm sure Aravis would, if nothing else, have some words about that, as they are certainly just wild animals. And they're just upset. The dog folk here around the wagon immediately start a cacophonous chorus of excited howling and yelping. Save for the one on the ground, still just watching the shovel dig, inching forward towards the blade as it's not digging fast. It's not really going any faster than he could be doing with his hands, really. Inching forward towards the hole as it slowly develops, readying to at least, it seems, bury his face in it.
I'm also inching forward. Barkbeard's also like looking at the shovel, kind of inching forward, also staring at it very intently. Very similar expression to the dog. Like,
And the one on the wagon, as he watches these land sharks retreat away, still just kind of very overstimulated is the word that we'll use. Very, very overstimulated here. He's an excited boy. After a couple moments of just toneless, again, frantic howling, he turns to Zerg and to Barkbeard. A strange smile separating his pug-like face. He is a weird, ugly creature, but he's almost so ugly it's endearing. Because his face is literally a pug. That is exactly what he looks like right there. He's got a fairly plain tan jerkin over his shoulders down to his waist, drawn about with a simple belt. Over some basic clothing and some simple leather bracers on his wrists. Probably to pull the wagons or to work the tools that are also scattered around with these turnips and cabbages where the wagon has been upheaved. Almost panting, he looks at the group of you. That was amazing! You're the circus folk. We heard about the circus folk. I saw you on the posters. You're the strongest man alive. You can beat up a land shark.
Yes. Beat up anything.
You can fit in that thing's mouth, and you can still fight it off. That's amazing. And
Yes. I am amazing, yes.
the rest of these
Thank you.
creatures come around the wagon, intrigued by whatever you are and whatever has happened, and curious to come see their new saviors here. As he stands up tall on the wagon. Tall, him plus the toppled wagon brings him probably to about here on Zerg, maybe up to about the nose region. And he bows his head, nodding, almost like a frantic yes gesture. Oh, my name's Arthur. Arthur Bristlecone. I can't believe you saved us.
It was nothing, really. Not even sweaty. Yeah. It's easy, not a problem. I'm glad you're okay.
This is incredible. I knew you had shows. We'd seen the posters. Are you performing in Matty Cleave?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we get to see the show. I'm gonna tell my entire clan.
Yes, bring the whole clan around. Don't forget to invite everybody, all your friends, family, everyone. Come to the show.
Buy the merch.
Get some merch, yes. Do we have dog-size shirts and stuff?
So it was a good idea to go around the roads to give some advertisement, as R is picking up turnips one at a time and bringing them and piling them up next to
Yeah,
the
I'd
cart.
upright the cart again.
Like he's just piling one at a time with his one arm.
I'm still walking behind him, like stitching them together as he's doing that.
What's it, everyone? We have to get back to Fernie. We have to bring shipment to the Cleve. But when we get home to Fernie, we'll bring everyone to come see the circus. Everyone has to come see the heroes. You saved us.
See, someone, we are heroes.
You saved us. You saved the turnips. You saved the cabbages.
At least the cabbages.
The cabbages are very important. Just picks up a cabbage, tosses it in the cart.
Orem!
Aura, check this out. Everybody, high fives. Yeah? And then hold my hand out to all the little dudes.
And all the Shunies would be tripping over themselves to come high five you. Like, they would, save for the one that's still on the ground watching the shovel dig, that as Arthur called out, he kind of perked up and looked up towards the wagon. Oh. And Arthur looks back at him. Stop digging a hole! What are you doing? Give me the shovel! And he comes down off the cart and grabs the shovel, which has got some just dirt around the bottom of the blade now, and almost hops his way back around the cart, holding the shovel in two hands up over his head. Here, take our shovel. This is a gift of friendship. It's a Shuni shovel. It digs as good as a Shuni.
I take it. I like it.
You put it on the ground, and you tell it what to do, and it does the work for you.
That is incredible, actually.
Yeah, it's gonna be useful.
It's easy
Would be
magic.
incredibly
Easy Shuni
handy.
magic.
I love
When is-
these little dudes.
When is your
These are
show?
great.
We have to see.
When was our show again?
Yeah, when is
I don't
our
think you haven't
show,
actually set
Stubborn?
a schedule for it yet.
Well, we had a date.
Your plan was a week after. Oh, you're right. It was a week out.
Yeah.
It was you started it this day, and you were going to advertise when you got back.
Yeah.
So it is going. It's the 21st now, so it's going to be the 27th then. Because it'll be 6 days from now. Oh, we can come. We can get wagon to Matt and Cleve by nightfall. Make it back to Fernie the next day. I can round everybody up. I'll get all of my family, all of my friends, all of the Shuni clan from Fernie. The whole town will come.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I can't wait for me to meet Cubby.
You have a
That's
cubby?
actually true.
What
We
is a
need to meet
cubby?
Cubby. Cubby's our friend.
Cubby's our best friend.
Is Cubby a part of the circus?
Yes.
Well, we'll see the Cubby. We'll see the strongest man alive. And we will see you were on the posters too. And he points down to Selwyn. You're the clown lady. We can see the clown lady. Do you do things with fire?
Me?
Fire and
No.
magic.
No. I ride a flying horse.
It's a Pegasus, Selwyn.
That's
It's
a flying
Miss
horse.
Dancer.
He likes to be called a Pegasus. He's not.
No,
just
he
a
likes to be
horse.
called Miss Dancer, and he's a
Don't
flying
look him in
horse.
the eyes or he'll bite you. But
And all the other four of them kind of turn and quickly look between themselves. And Arthur turns around and with like motions from the quiet down. I don't know where the Pegasus is, but it sounds exciting. A flying horse. Flying horses are nice. We were hoping Show would have fire and magic. We have little magic, but things like shovel. We never get to see fancy magic or big fire. It's not safe with the farms and the crops. But the circus does juggling fire, no?
Oh, we have a guy who does juggling fire, and I can make fire. I just produce flame up in the air, make a little firework out of it.
And all of them immediately, like the breathy panting stops, their jaws hanging open, tongues literally out, as they just watch the produced flame go up.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
he can do more than that at the show.
Yes, we will see you along the show. Here, let me help you try and get all this stuff off the ground.
Oh. You don't have to help us. You've already saved it. We can gather our vegetables and get our cart back up, right? You're important circus folk. You have circus things to do. But
Well, I suppose we'll see you at the show.
Oh, we can't wait. We can't wait. This is exciting. I can't wait to tell everyone. Aram, we have to spread the word. Through all of 30, the whole town will come.
And
Yes.
still on the ground, kind of like nosing at the hole, he looks up. Huh?
But yes. Thank you. You are heroes. You are circus folk and heroes. We didn't know that such things were possible. It was amazing. You just beat them up and they ran away. You even killed this one. Look how big it is.
And with
Yes, and we're going to do even more of the circus show. We see you there. It's going to be great.
the adoration and the heartfelt amazement of Arthur Bristlecone and his Shoonie friends, having met your first of these strange dog people that are a race that exists now, I suppose they're
So weird looking.
I don't know if I like them or if I hate them.
we
can't
can.
figure it out.
So it's a pug.
With a dwarf spotty. Like,
Well, it's like a halfling's body.
they're ripped like a fucking wrestler, dude. Like,
They're farmers. They have a very physical job. They're gonna be pretty stacked. They till fields all day and they're tiny. We'll come back to this next week. We have a show to put on in Matt and Cleve. We have things to do, and we have conquered the first of the Aeon Towers and the Swardlands. And, learned some perhaps interesting things while we're doing it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Hopefully, we will see you all next week. Yeah, we're good next week, right, Bryn? Actually, we're not going to miss any Extinction Curses for this. I think we get to do all the Extinction Curses. We will see you all next week.
yeah.
Same time, same place. 4 p.m. Eastern. But until then, good night, everybody. What an adventure.